This is the Big 12 on ESPN. A break from the recent Oklahoma heat, and Cowboy Nation is gathered in Stillwater for one of the most anticipated games this opening Labor Day weekend. T-Boone Pickens Stadium, the backdrop for a first-time collision. The two-time defending FCS national champs from South Dakota State will put the nation's longest winning streak on the line as they take on number 17, Oklahoma State. And a pleasant good afternoon. Sean Kenny alongside Rice quarterback Taylor McHargue. So great to have you with us. Taylor, a lot of captivating games this opening weekend. A lot of people had this one circled.
Well, we've got a good one today. You've got Oklahoma State on one side bringing back virtually all of their production from a year ago. This is a favorite in the Big 12 and a real dark horse to make it to that 12-team playoff. On the other side for South Dakota State, a team they've come off back-to-back national championships like you touched on. It's been 728 days since they've lost a game. They're trying to play spoiler here today.
Last year, South Dakota State quarterback Mark Gronowski won the Walter Payton Award, which is the Heisman equivalent at the FCS level. He had a lot of offers this offseason as a result, but he stayed loyal. He returned to Brookings with one thing in mind.
This is one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football, not just at the FCS level, and he had opportunities to go elsewhere and chase money, decided to come back with his guys for another ride, try and run it back for a third straight national championship for South Dakota State.
Speaking of championships, Oklahoma State has a Big 12 championship on their mind this season. Ollie Gordon took everybody by storm a year ago, out of nowhere to lead the nation in rushing yards. The question, what's in store for an encore for the Doak Walker winner? For more on that, we head down to the sidelines and Tori Petrie.
Sean, about an hour before kickoff, the Cowboys came out of the tunnel for pregame warmups, and the student section was chanting Ollie Gordon's name. That is a whole other level of stardom than he had coming into this season last year. Offensive coordinator Casey Dunn told us that all he knows he's got a target on his back this year, and he needs to take it to another level. Mike Gundy says in a perfect world, they're giving him about 20 carries a game, but the challenge is he likes to get into a groove, so they've got to balance his workload and keep him fresh this season, Sean.
Expecting to see a lot of Ollie Gordon this afternoon. The college football season is underway. Oklahoma State winning the coin toss. They elected to defer. So South Dakota State, and this offense will come out as they start shop at the 22-yard line, and there is Mark Gronowski, the 6'3", 230-pound senior out of Naperville, Illinois. What a season. 37-3 as a starter. Made the decision to come back this year, had multiple opportunities to go to a Power 4 school, but everything he needed right there in Brookings, and a chance to lead the Jacks in a hostile environment today. From the 23, the afternoon's first carry goes to Amar Johnson, and he gets two, hit by Trey Rucker.
Replacing Amar Johnson, Amar Johnson replacing fifth-round pick Isaiah Davis from a year ago, now with the Jets, and that's going to be a focus for the Jackrabbits, getting Amar Johnson going early. Expect first and second down carries, trying to get this to third and manageable. Early theme in this first quarter.
As you watch South Dakota State, they will bring tight end after tight end at you. A lot of 12, even 13 personnel. Key part of this offense, Gronowski to throw for the first time, has his man, and a first down catch up to the 36. That's Griffin Wilde.
Griffin Wilde, one of the guys the Jackrabbits will be leaning on, lost both of the Yankee twins from a year ago that have moved on. That's been one of the pieces between Graham Goring, number 12, and 18, Griffin Wilde, trying to get them going early in this game. And we know, because they talked about it with us in our meetings, Mark Gronowski loves those quick outs. Feel like he's really accurate with those quick games.
Going to be interesting for the Jacks who steps up in that receiving corps. As you talked about, Wilde with 20 catches a season ago. That's the most among their returnees. Here's that big formation, the jumbo set. They're going to throw out of it, and they hit Johnson out of the backfield with room to run. He'll get to the corner, tackled out of bounds at the 49 by Nick Martin, a gain of 13.
And a good job by Amar Johnson selling like he's cracking down on that defensive end, wide open in the flat. And Amar Johnson was a backup a year ago. This was a guy that had almost 1,000 yards of production. He has 2 national championships under his belt, as well as come up in big spots for them. So even though he was in a backup role, a ton of production in the running back room.
Undoubtedly the best backup at the FCS level. You look at who he has followed in his years in Brookings: Isaiah Davis last year, Pierre Strong before, a couple of NFL backs. NFL talent up and down this roster, and this is something Gronowski is very comfortable at doing. In fact, Ryan Olson, the offensive coordinator, told us he wants them to get hit a couple of times to get into rhythm.
Well, they feel like this offense is clicking when they have Mark Gronowski running the football. You go back to the national championship against Montana earlier this year in January. Some of the bigger plays in that game for South Dakota State wasn't Mark Gronowski throwing the football, it was using his legs.
Rush for over 400 yards last year as the Jacks ran another perfect season. 2 straight national championships facing a test here, and a good-looking drive to start today's festivities. 4-man rush, they get rid of it quickly, and there's the tight end, Davin Stoffel. He's a giant, 6 foot 6 inch, 250-pounder.
The tight end that they described that he's going to have a huge future here for South Dakota State. And Sean, you already touched on how important, in my opinion, the tight end room for South Dakota State is the most important position on that offense. We'll see several featured today, but good for the Jackrabbits fans to see Davin Stoffel featured early.
Like they did in so many categories a year ago atop the FCS, they face their first 3rd down test right here. 3rd and short. They're going to throw it out in the flat. A rare misfire from Gronowski. He had Goring open.
They effectively used Griffin Wilde as the pick player. And Sean, you nailed it. Graham Goring wide open. An unusual miss there from Mark Gronowski, and the offense staying on the field.
Jimmy Rogers, year 2, taking over for a legend in John Stiglmeyer, and he says, we're on the road, we're playing a top 20 opponent, let's keep the offense on the field. RPO action, the tight end stumbled out of the gate and it falls incomplete. Grayton Gannon had space to roam, but he lost his footing and threw off the timing of the play.
And this is schemed up perfectly for South Dakota State. Look on the left side of the screen. You nailed it, tripped up. I also don't think Mark Gronowski saw him. Even if Grayton Gannon hadn't tripped, that ball was nowhere near number 88, Grayton Gannon. And a big stop there on 4th down for this Oklahoma State defense.
That was Jeff Robertson, the linebacker, who inadvertently got his foot caught up with the tight end, and a missed opportunity for South Dakota State. And now here comes Alan Bowman in this high-octane offense. And immediately they give the ball to their leader, Brennan Presley, who spins into a pop as he takes it up to the 46, hit by Graham Spalding.
Graham Spalding, physical contact to the first play on defense.
Cowboys go tempo, 2 plays, 2 touches for Presley, snipped out effectively there by the Jackrabbits.
Tempo here early from Oklahoma State, something we expected. Be cognizant with the player and coach communication in the helmet now. How much tempo does Oklahoma State use, having to pause here to let Jackrabbits get off the field?
Alan Bowman, the starting quarterback for the 2nd straight year. Gaping hole for the Doak Walker winner. Ollie Gordon's first touch of the 2024 season goes for 1st down yardage.
More tempo again, but 20 touches. That's the number that Mike Gundy said they want to get to Ollie Gordon in this game.
12 yards, and now into the bag of tricks on the reverse. This is Presley, and Presley takes it up near the 40 where he's hit by Spalding.
3 touches already for Brennan Presley, trying to get him active early in this game.
Cowboys ramping up the tempo here on this opening drive. This kind of goes back to Mike Gundy in his very first few years in Stillwater with Larry Fedora as his offensive coordinator when they went fast, and that's what they're doing here. 3rd down and 4. Bowman with time, floats too tall, looking for Presley. And now a decision for the Cowboys.
In this spot on the field, would expect Oklahoma State to go for it here. I thought Bowman had the corner route open, just held on it for a hair too long, high on that throw. That's something that he talked about wanting to improve on. When he's ready to make a decision, pull the trigger and let the ball go.
So we saw the Jackrabbits come up short on 4th down. Let's see what offensive coordinator Casey Dunn and Oklahoma State dial up here. They run a stunt, 4-man coming after the throw over the middle. What a catch! Held on by Rashad Owens despite the contact.
Rashad Owens is known for his ability to make these contested catches. Watch this right in the middle of the screen. Gets his hands away from the defender, keeps the ball away. It's a great 4th down conversion from Rashad Owens.
Yeah, if you're Colby Humphrey, not much more you could do with that. Owens really came on strong late in the year. A season ago, the honorable mention all Big 12. Bowman again, all sorts of time. Now he's forced to throw it. Near the side, incomplete. Looking for Presley. Coverage on the play by Cale Reeder.
Going back to Brennan Presley again, that deep dig. Love trying to find him in the middle of the field. Covered well on the back end by South Dakota State.
Year 20 for Gundy. Overall, when you factor in his playing days as a Cowboy here in Stillwater, 33 years he's been a part of Oklahoma State football. The second longest tenured coach in college football and the consistent winner that he has been. 2nd down, they move the pocket for the first time. They will dump it off. It's been a busy opening drive as they are able to get Presley freed up. Space tackling Colby Humphrey, and that was a priority for the Jacks. How do they tackle an open space?
It's a good job making Graham Spalding first defender miss, but you see how many white hats rally to the football. It's a staple for this Jackrabbits defense, their ability to tackle in space.
Already 4 touches on this opening drive for Presley. Play clock down to 4. Bowman's going to take a shot, lofts it toward the end zone, incomplete. He was looking for Owens. Coverage once again by Colby Humphrey.
We talked about Rashad Owens' ability in those 50-50 situations. They test it here early. Just a simple fade. Maybe gets away with a little bit of a push-off and not able to come down with it. Jackrabbits able to get off the field, but you go back to that Texas Bowl. How many 50-50 shot plays did Rashad Owens come down with?
No Alex Hale this year for Oklahoma State, one of the most reliable kickers in college football. So in steps Logan Ward, the redshirt junior. His first field goal attempt of his career, and he is perfect. So the Cowboys with a 4th down conversion, they get 3. Football back in Stillwater. Beautiful day here at Pickens Stadium. Oklahoma State fires the opening salvo. Oklahoma State with the early 3-0 lead, 11 plays, only 32 yards. Key number though, Taylor, 17 seconds per play for the Cowboys, who came in with a game plan on that opening drive.
Move the ball quickly. A staple of this offense. Come to know they like to use tempo, like to get on the ball. The first drive, obviously trying to get Brennan Presley involved. Would expect more touches on their second possession from Ollie Gordon.
Mark Gronowski awaiting his second offensive possession. Overcast conditions here in Stillwater. It's been a terrific heat wave all week, but today a break as we go back down to the sideline with Tori.
Sean, a lot of folks might have turned into this game expecting to see some QR codes on Oklahoma State's helmets for the NIL collective. That was news that happened just before the season started, but we got news today that the NCAA actually blocked that and did not allow them to put it on their helmets because they considered it advertising or commercial marks. However, they're still trying to make the most of that initiative. If you keep your eyes peeled, you might see one of those QR codes around the stadium. They're also in restaurants around Stillwater and around campus as well. So it's a real big initiative they're still pushing.
It is the new era of college football, without a doubt. First down, possession 2 for South Dakota State. They will hand the ball off. This is Angel Johnson. He's the home run hitter, world-class speed for the junior. And he gets a good surge on first down.
Number one goal that the South Dakota State staff talked to us about on the offensive side of the ball: control the line of scrimmage. They understand it's an FCS team against a Power 4 team, but they want to come in and run the ball effectively, dominate the line of scrimmage, and they don't care what the bodies on the other side look like. They're going to run the football all game long against Oklahoma State.
Top 10 in pretty much every offensive category, and keep in mind they play in the most competitive conference at the FCS level with the Missouri Valley Football Conference. On second down, pressure off the edge by Ross. They swing it out, and Johnson went down. Looked like as he planted his foot, that knee down on the turf, making sure he went down, was Kendall Daniels, but that was Ross who put the initial heat on.
And good coverage on the back end, trying to run shallow crosses. Mark Gronowski working through his progression. Unfortunate for South Dakota State. Angel Johnson losing his footing there. But big opportunity here from the Pokes defense for the 3rd and long.
Loss of 7 on that last play. Johnson in motion. They set up the screen, getting it out to Wilde as he weaves his way through orange, and he will pick up the first down up to the 39-yard line. Good setup play and even better patience from Wilde.
And that is exactly what South Dakota State got out of the Yankee Twins a year ago. And Griffin Wilde stepping into that spot. A good job blocking on the perimeter from his offensive line as well. Big 3rd down conversion. We've seen Griffin Wilde targeted a couple times early in this first quarter.
This is an offense with the Yankee Twins, along with tight end Zach Hines, that lost a combined 135 catches, over 2,100 yards and 22 touchdowns from a season ago. New weapons will have to emerge. Pressure right up the middle, buying some time, and now just dumping it to the flat, and good pursuit by the Cowboys. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Deshaun Brown, the redshirt sophomore.
And they were prepared on the back end, trying to get a post over the top from Graham Goring. He was double covered by Cam Smith, and over the top at safety by Cameron Epps. Nowhere to go with the ball. Good coverage again from the Pokes.
Nick Martin, center of this defense, the preseason All-American. Talk about a breakout performance. What a year he had, over 140 tackles from the center of this Cowboy D. Second down, looking for a cutback lane, not much. 2, maybe 3 up near the 40, setting up another 3rd down.
And this defense under Brian Nardo, 2nd year in the 3-3-5. What does that mean? 3 down linemen. They like to get to a 3 safety look. But against a team like South Dakota State, you're going to have to get that 4th body down towards the line of scrimmage. That's typically Colin Oliver. He does a really nice job at sort of that rush-in position. A lot of bodies close to the line of scrimmage. They'll play this team a little bit different than they normally would in Big 12 play.
3 new starters on that offensive front line for the Jacks. See how creative Nardo has it on this 3rd down. Throw dangerous, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Corey Black.
Trying to get to the field comeback against the best cover corner from Oklahoma State. And Corey Black is not fooled. To the right side, unbelievable play from Corey Black. Flips momentum and gets the offense the ball back here in Stillwater.
Always an electric atmosphere in Stillwater as you're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Good start for this Cowboy defense. Corey Black with the interception. Black, the senior out of Waco, one of the top cover corners in the Big 12. A lot of speculation after last year. He missed the bowl game. Would he possibly head to the NFL? Maybe hit the portal, join his younger brother at Texas. He had a lot of options, but I think Gundy has done such a terrific job of, once he gets guys in his program, they stay. And Black teamed up with Cam Smith, 2 of the best cover corners in the conference, and they set up Bowman and this offense in great shape. And look at Ollie Gordon go. A double-digit gallop up to the 37.
Just like we expected, getting him involved. Likes to be in the pistol formation. From vision perspective, he could see everything in front of him. And you also want to get that 230-pound frame going downhill. Opportunity there from Dallas, being him make a tackle from the corner spot. But you see a lot of times defenders, especially secondary, diving at the ankles of the Doak Walker Award winner and Ollie Gordon.
What a year it was for Gordon, leading the country over 1,700 yards. And keep in mind, it was somewhat of a slow start through the first 3 weeks. But yards after contact, his ability to make defenders miss, the entire package. Francel and Reeder finally able to track him down, and there's an injured Jackrabbit being attended to. But you go back to the season for Gordon, 1,700 plus rushing, the 21 touchdowns, and then always that home run threat, the ability to break the big one. Injury timeout here from Stillwater as they attend to the injured Jackrabbit Cowboys. With the early field goal, they lead 3-0. Graham Spalding, the starting weak side linebacker for South Dakota State, helped off the field, and you really feel for this young man, an athlete who battled a labrum injury early in his career, was really looking forward to this season as the full-time starter alongside his best buddy Adam Bach. So blow for the Jackrabbit defense. Oklahoma State, 2nd down and 6. Play fake by Bowman over the middle. It's Gordon with the catch. This will be very close to a first down. Looks like they give him a good spot, and this will move the chains.
That's an underrated part of Ollie Gordon's game. He's tackled behind the yard to gain for the first down. That big frame rolls forward, ends up picking up the first down.
Long throw, and the new Cowboy, Gavin Freeman. He's on the other side of Bedlam. Started his career at Oklahoma, one of the transfers they brought in this offseason.
And a guy that this staff described as versatile. Expected him to get some touches in this game, getting him involved in the screen game early.
Heritage Hall graduate, nearby OKC. Design draw, Bowman's going to take off. He'll lower the pads, ball ahead, pick up another first down, up to the 14, a gain of 7.
We saw some of this a year ago for Alan Bowman. Anytime you get that 4 down front, guards wash out the tackles, get that nice lane right in front of you. Alan Bowman does a good job. Get what you can get and then get down.
Mixing up their speeds fast here in this first quarter. Time to throw. Now Bowman comes back far side, trying to toe drag, and getting the toe in was Dejon Stribling. They're certainly happy to have him back healthy in his 2nd year after starting his career at Washington State.
Nice job working back to the football for his quarterback. Stribling was covered early. Now we see some personnel changes in that hockey lineup style rotation on the defensive line that they talked to us about for South Dakota State.
The previous play is under further review.
So they are going to go upstairs and take a look to see if indeed Stribling was able to get a toe in and make the catch. So we take another look.
On the left side of the screen, Stribling working back down the sideline. Look at the left foot. Does that come down? I think that's a catch. Clearly has possession. Looking at that left foot, is he able to get that down before stepping out? Right here. Yeah, they clearly see the pebbles, the turf pop back up. I think this will stand.
Jeff Hansen is our replay official in the booth next door. Stribling last year utilized a red shirt after a freak accident in practice. He broke his wrist in the very first practice of the bye week. He talked about how hurtful it was and the sense of pride just wanting to be out there, especially as the Cowboys got hot over the second half of the year.
Well, Mike Gundy told us for as good as our receiver room is, if Stribling hadn't gotten hurt, he may have been our best receiver just with the talent that he has.
After further review, the ruling in the field of a catch is confirmed.
Mike Gundy has to be happy with the start. His offense running a lot of plays. His defense forcing a couple of stops, including a takeaway with the interception from Black, and now the Cowboys trying to punch in their first touchdown of the season. Jake Schultz is checked into the game. He's the fullback. He's a decoy here as they throw it out. Presley with the catch, reaches ahead, tiptoes to the pylon. Touchdown, Oklahoma State.
Point of emphasis early in this game to get Brennan Presley the ball, and a great job on this route. Patience from Alan Bowman. He's covered initially, but it's a choice route, and Brennan Presley breaks this to the outside, fights through the tackle, gets the Pokes on the board for their first touchdown of the 2024 season.
A pillar of consistency for Brennan Presley, who's been active in this first quarter now, 31 consecutive games with multiple receptions, and Oklahoma State takes advantage of the turnover.
It's the patience on this route. Breaks in that stutter step. Brennan Presley has the choice to pivot that back in or break out. Watch here, that stutter step, that freezes Stephen Orell, and the rest of that play is all Brennan Presley being an athlete.
The Cowboys, 7 plays, 47 yards. Not quite 3 minutes off the clock as they take it down the field. Alan Bowman with the touchdown. This is an Oklahoma State team last year that really was slow out of the gates. They were stunned by South Alabama. They were sitting at 2-2, and boy, did they ever get hot. They turned things around. They wiped out Texas A&M in the Texas Bowl, and of course, the emergence of Ollie Gordon as the nation's top running back.
Go back to a season ago. Ollie Gordon took him 3 or 4 games to really get going. Alan Bowman wasn't declared the starter until week 4, full-time starter. Finally figured out that mix. Really no looking back until the Big 12 championship.
From the 5, this is Angel Johnson, able to keep his balance. Johnson working hard, and he is finally corralled at the 29-yard line. A program coming off 2 consecutive national championships, and they have lost some cornerstones as far as the success in Brookings in recent years. Isaiah Davis now with the New York Jets, the run production from him, and then the Yankee brothers with both Jaden and Jackson.
Well, and this is all from the skill perspective, but they also lost their left guard, Mason McCormick, 4th-round pick to Pittsburgh. And there's a lot of pieces that were in backup roles a year ago, and just by nature of how many games South Dakota State has played with their playoff runs, a lot of these guys had key depth, but they are now stepping into starting roles for the first time.
Elijah Irvin in motion. They're going to try to keep it with Gronowski, and he goes absolutely nowhere. Obi Ezigbo, transfer from Gannon, making his first TFL.
Ezigbo wins right at the point of attack against Quentin Christensen. He's one of the guys we just talked about, stepping into a new role at left tackle in 33. Oklahoma State, nice play to create the tackle for loss in the backfield.
How big would it be if they get production from Ezigbo after 5 years at Division II Gannon University in Erie, PA? Loss of 3 puts the Jacks behind schedule. 2nd down. It'll dump off to the 29-yard line, and again tackled immediately. Johnson with the catch, and again it is Ezigbo and Kendall Daniels.
Doesn't that feel like the strategy early from Oklahoma State? Keep everything in front, find to let them have South Dakota State have these quick outs, the hitches, the screens, but keep everything in front. The couple times that South Dakota State has tried to hit a shot play over the top, it's been well defended, and then the opportunities that they've had to create those tackle for losses and the turnovers, Oklahoma State has capitalized.
Jacks 1 for 3 on 3rd down. They will hand the ball off. Big cut there by Johnson, and now it's a foot race. Amar Johnson all the way play to the Cowboy 30 where Cameron Epps is able to run him down. There's the speed, the vision that they talked about with Amar Johnson.
Off the left side, sticks his foot in the ground, makes safety miss at the second level, Trey Rucker. And this was the concern for Oklahoma State after last season. The run game and the run defense was a point of emphasis that they had to get that fixed. South Dakota State runs the ball. That was stretch zone on 3rd and 9. Big play for South Dakota State.
The Jackrabbits certainly needed something positive in this first quarter, and they get it. Jimmy Rogers, his first matchup against an FBS foe, and after one, it's Oklahoma State with the lead. One quarter in the books, Oklahoma State with a 10-0 lead. Just a few moments ago, Torrey caught up with Jimmy Rogers.
Coach, what do you do to take advantage of that momentum play right there?
Well, we got to score right now. So we got an opportunity. We got to make the most of it. We talked about it all week, scoring in this area. So we got to be able to run the ball.
Thanks, Coach.
That big play Torrey talking about, the 40-yard run that Amar Johnson was able to rip off on a 3rd and long, and that has the Jackrabbits in their best position of the day. Nation-long win streak coming into this one. Their last loss, the season opener of the 2022 season in Iowa City. Gronowski showing his toughness as he pile drives up ahead to the 20. Trey Rucker, the 5th-year senior, with the tackle, but a first down for South Dakota State.
There aren't many quarterbacks in college football that you feel comfortable running right down the gut between the tackles against a Power 4 defense. We were on the field in pregame warm-up. I mean, Mark Gronowski is bigger than I realized. Well built, thick, and able to absorb those blows. Just took on the safety at the second level to pick up that first down.
Nearly perfection a season ago inside the red zone. Oftentimes when you have tight ends, your red zone success is pretty high. This is that option on the slant. Good coverage. A late flag flies in the backfield. They were looking for Goring. And again, the flag down in the Jackrabbit backfield.
Holding, number 87, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's one of those tight ends, Davin Stoffel.
That's a backbreaker. Jimmy Rogers talking at the break with Torrey about needing to capitalize on that big run from Amar Johnson. Now you're pushing it right at the edge for Hunter Dustman for his kicking range. Obviously first down, some opportunities to get that back, but penalties putting South Dakota State behind, something they cannot afford in this game.
Sun starting to creep through the cloud cover. There was a threat of some showers and rain this afternoon, but right now the sun breaking through. Packed house in Stillwater in this official opening weekend of the college football season. Running to the field side is Johnson as he turns on the Jets. Nick Martin pursuing him every step of the way.
South Dakota State caught Oklahoma State in a blitz into the interior to the field side, and a nice job for Amar Johnson, able to get the corner, pick up all that penalty yardage and then some, get this drive back on schedule.
See the numbers for Johnson today. 4 carries, 57 yards, 40 of those yards coming on that long run that has them in position. 2nd and 7. Brenner and Stoffel, the 2 tight ends right. That was the initial direction. Gronowski wanted to go. Now running. Again, it's Martin chasing, and Martin corrals the Peyton Award winner from a year ago. The speed of Nick Martin.
Guy on the defense that this defensive staff said is the alpha, the leader of the group. Watch him on the right side of the screen. Mark Gronowski feels like almost able to get that corner, and great pursuit from the captain, Nick Martin.
Last year was the first year he was in the starting lineup, and boy did he produce. Led the Big 12 in tackles, solo tackles, tackles per game. Finished with 140 total tops, 83 solo. Empty backfield draw for Gronowski, and he won't get there. Cut down well shy of the first down, Colin Clay. There is a flag down as well, a late flag thrown in. It's along the South Dakota State sideline, so we'll wait and see. Like an illegal shift. Mike Gundy getting an explanation of his options.
Illegal shift, 2 men in motion on the offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
And South Dakota State, Jimmy Rogers and company will send out the field goal unit.
Good job, bend but don't break after that 3rd down conversion that South Dakota State picked up on the big Amar Johnson run. An Oklahoma State fan pleased to just limit them to a field goal. And on the other side for South Dakota State, bouncing back from that turnover late in the first quarter, an opportunity for their first points here.
Do-it-all kicker Hunter Dustman on to attempt from 31 yards. Handles the punting duties, the kickoffs, and a very reliable and accurate weapon as the team's place kicker, and he gets the Jackrabbits on the board. South Dakota State able to find some offense. They trail it by 7 here in Stillwater. Big crowd here in Stillwater as you're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Oklahoma State looking for their 29th consecutive home opening win. That is the 2nd longest in the country, and so far so good if you're a Cowboy. They lead 10-3 over South Dakota State. First ever meeting between these two teams. Alan Bowman with a touchdown pass in the first quarter. Bowman 8 of 11 using that quick short passing game for 40 yards in this first half. Cale Cavanis, Brennan Presley awaiting the kick. Dustman with the approach. End-overing kick. This will be Presley, the dynamic playmaker. Presley, just as he was having some green open up, he's wrapped up and tackled at the 26, a return of 23 yards. And here comes Bowman. And on the opposite side for South Dakota State, we saw Graham Spalding leave the game midway through the first quarter with what appeared to be a lower body injury.
Had him moving around on the sideline, but they still have, looks like, Dayton McCoy in the game opposite Adam Bach. See if we see Graham Spalding back in the game.
At the 26-yard line, Cowboys will go to work, and this is Gordon with nowhere to go. Count them up, 6 different Jackrabbits loading the box. Caleb Francel, the first one to hit him.
And the first time we've seen an Ollie Gordon carry with Alan Bowman under center. That's a look that I'm certain South Dakota State is used to seeing.
And now a Jackrabbit is down.
Defensive injury.
And this is Zach Wilson, the senior, and this is a position they can ill afford to lose anyone else. Keep in mind there's no Blake Peterson today. They brought him in via the transfer portal from Iowa State as he returned back home to his state. Fortunately, Taylor, this looks like maybe just a cramp issue for Wilson.
Don't want to speculate too much, but going in, stretching out the calf, expect that's a cramp. It's not real hot today in Stillwater, but it is muggy, it's humid. It's also the first time these guys, regardless of how hard you go in camp and your scrimmages, first time they're really straining in game, and for both sides, we expect to see some cramping.
See Graham Spalding, good to see him have a helmet on. He is huddled up around his defensive teammates. Expect we'll see Zach Wilson as he jogs off to the sideline, and we'll keep an eye on Spalding, their starting linebacker, who was forced to leave this game earlier, but helmet on, looks like he's anxious to get out there, so we'll keep tracks on that. Depth is always a concern if you're an FCS opponent playing FBS. That depth getting tested on the defensive side of the football today. Second down on the slant. The pass is caught Stribling showing those big hands as he snatched it, a gain of 14.
They take advantage of a loaded box. This is a great catch by Stribling. Number 7, Dallas Beanham behind him. I think he thought this was going right by Stribling for an opportunity for an interception. And we touched on it earlier, Sean, the wrist injury a year ago for Stribling, and that this staff was so excited about getting him back because of the talent that he is.
Stribling transferred in same year Bowman arrived, so those two very close off the gridiron, and they certainly have a lot of chemistry, and it just wasn't able to be on full display because of the injury to Stribling a season ago.
South Dakota State continuing to keep Ollie Gordon contained for now, giving up 3-4 yards a pop, but avoiding that catastrophic chunk play we've come to know again from Ollie Gordon after his historic season last year.
Second down, Bowman hit as he released it. Presley along the near sideline crosses on to plus territory, setting up a very manageable third down.
Good throw by Alan Bowman. He's got pressure from the right side. Tempo here on 3rd and short.
Right up the middle with it, behind the center, Michalski, and a first down surge by this offensive line and Ollie Gordon.
Going back to that RPO for Alan Bowman, it's such a staple of this offense, and he does a nice job throwing off platform, which we saw in that second down conversion.
Michalski, the 5th-year senior, making his 24th start as Gordon. Now we're starting to get a steady dose of Ollie Gordon on this drive. Graham Spalding back out there for South Dakota State on that stop.
Kobe Claiborne back up.
Timeout for defensive injury.
Slow to get up there. But Sean, you said it exactly right, starting to get that heavy dose of Ollie Gordon, and a lot's been made through camp about Ollie Gordon and how strong he gets later in the game. You see all the production they have coming back on the offensive line. 215 combined starts for this unit, all led in the middle by Joe Michalski, preseason All-American, one of the best centers in the country.
Second down, Bowman off the play fake, brings it back in, now settles on the near side where it is caught. Sesi Bailahi with the catch. Bowman having some time to throw with this offensive line we were just talking about.
And a good decision to not try to force this, trying to hit the post over top to Stribling, but checks it down to Sesi Bailahi, who had those critical snaps last year, especially in the Big 12 championship. Stepped in as a freshman. They were happy about their depth behind Ollie Gordon with Bailahi.
Bailahi stays in the game as South Dakota State brings the blitz. They run right by it off that quick pitch. Gain of 3 yards on the play. Adam Bach in the center of the defense, the tackle. The captain really has been asked to take on more of a vocal leadership role for the Jacks this year. Second down, Bowman again wanted to go right, settles down for Bailahi. And Bailahi grabbed by the face mask. Spalding got his hands up and laundry all over the turf, and this will be another 15 yards for the Cowboys.
4 flags. Nobody missed that one, an obvious face mask. Bailahi talked about his ability out of the backfield as well. Really dynamic back for the Cowboys.
Personal foul, face mask, number 29, defense. At the distance to the goal line, first down.
Get another look at it. Bailahi, he's the check down. See right here, gets his head spun all the way around. Fortunate, not injured. But a good job by Alan Bowman also on this drive. A couple times they've schemed up shot plays down the field. He's worked through his progression and got it to his back both times, making the smart decision.
And you can only do that if you're given time, and certainly he has been given the time in this first half. Cowboys go with a diamond set on first down. They hand it off, and this is Gordon running his way. Touchdown. Ollie Gordon back in 24.
You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. It's a reason he was a Doak Walker Award winner. Breaks tackles at the point of contact off the left side. One of the most physical backs in college football. Breaks the tackle of Tucker Large, finishes this in the end zone. He's keeping the momentum from that historic season in 2023 rolling early in this first half.
Gordon's 21 rushing touchdowns last year, second in the country only to Michigan's Blake Corum. It does not take him long to find his first 6 of the season. The power, the speed, the finishing touch. Cowboys with their largest lead. Once Ollie Gordon won the job last year, he became the Cowboy bell cow, literally, rushing 285 times a season ago. That was 8th most in Cowboy history. Only he and Chuba Hubbard have had 280 rushing attempts in a season since '96. And talking with Mike Gundy, if that was any indicator, they can expect even more of Ollie Gordon this season.
Well, and the scariest thing for anybody on the other side is Ollie Gordon gets stronger as the game goes along. Mike Gundy talked a couple times this camp about how they realized with some of the advice and input from his son, his touches later in the game, between 15 and 25 touches, that's what some of his biggest production is on display. Unbelievable back for Oklahoma State.
Line drive kick. This one will sail through the end zone for the touchback. And what a run for South Dakota State over the past couple of years. You take a look at the longest winning streaks at the FCS level. Of course, their rival, North Dakota State. They won 39 straight during their dominant run from 17 to 20. They did it earlier, 2012 to 14, the 33 consecutive. And now you see what South Dakota State has and what they have put on the line here with their first ever trip to Stillwater. 29 consecutive. Their last loss, the season opener at Kinnick Stadium to Iowa, 7-3. See if Gronowski can get his touch. Throwing the football, they move the pocket. Goring makes the catch. And then yards after catch as he takes it up to the 45-yard line. A gain of 27. Dylan Smith the stop.
Sean, we talked about it off air. Had to get Mark Gronowski going. The downfield shot plays they weren't hitting. Boot him out of the pocket. Nice job by Graham Goring on the over route. Patience from Mark Gronowski. That's the play that I think this Jackrabbits offense needed to try and spur some momentum. They've struggled throwing the ball downfield through this part of the first half. You can see the 8 of 11 for 65 yards. Most of those completions are less than 10 yards, air yards, close to the line of scrimmage completions.
Brenner lines up as the H-back off motion to the right. That's the direction they try to send Angel Johnson. Jeff Robertson, the 5th-year senior, coming up, sniffing out that play, 2nd and 10.
That's been the piece for Oklahoma State that I've been most impressed with in the first half. They've had one big run that's been popped on them by Amar Johnson. Other than that, a nice job, a lot of orange jerseys, rallying to the football, good gang tackling, not a lot of broken tackles as well. That was a big point of emphasis on both sides, but the tackling for Oklahoma State on defense.
That was an area they improved on over the course of the season last year, but they were really slow out of the gates as far as the tackling goes. And Mike Gundy kind of referenced to the point that he backed off the physicality of practice last year, trying to keep his players healthy, and a little bit of a different approach this season after the results and that slow start a year ago.
And South Dakota State, true to their word, they told us they were going to run Mark Gronowski. I don't think we realized it would be this much. It's every drive we're seeing 2 and 3. Sometimes quarterback draw, a lot of times quarterback power as well. Getting him involved in the run game. And to me, Sean, I think this is 2-down territory.
Absolutely, down 14 on the road. You mentioned the running by Gronowski already has carried it 6 times. Oklahoma State rushes 4 over the middle. Pass a bit high, but you see the hands of Wilde. He'll make the catch, and this is going to be really close. Looks like they're going to mark it right at the 36 and a first down.
This is fearless over the middle from Griffin Wilde. You don't like your quarterback typically on crossing routes to put it high, but a great individual effort from Wilde. Secure that catch, stretch forward for the first down.
Wilde, a local product. He went to Sioux Falls Jefferson, so he was fueled by the knowledge of the playbook last year. Similar system used by Sioux Falls Jefferson High, the 2-time All-Stater.
Rolling the field is a first down. is under further review.
So they are going to take another look. It was close, as I mentioned, and they are going to take a look at the spotting of the ball here after the catch by Wilde.
Left side of the screen, the shallow cross that he sits down is trying to get to that 36-yard line. It'll be tough to tell from that angle again, trying to get to that 36-yard line. It's close. Again, because it was ruled a first down on the field, this is going to have to be conclusive evidence to overturn this. To me, that's inconclusive from there. I would expect it to stand from that look. It is really close. At first contact when he stretches forward.
Take a look at the knee here. You can see from this angle, side judge not helping us with that look. This is probably going to be the best look at it. Again, keep an eye on that left knee right there. I think they might push this back to the 37. He might be a yard shy. Let's listen in.
After further review, the ruling in the field stands.
No.
First down.
You're right, Taylor.
Yeah, Sean, to me, it's not so much when the knee goes down. It was more when he first catches the ball, stretches around, it's close enough to that 36-yard line. It's one of those calls where if he had been marked short on the field, I think that stands as well. It's difficult, not enough evidence to overturn the call there. Will stand on the field as a first down for the Jackrabbits.
Keeps the drive alive. Third down conversion. The Jacks now today 3 of 6 on third downs. Inside 6 minutes to go. A quick moving first half from Stillwater. And now a snap goes right through the hands of Gronowski, and he is just going to heave it and avoid the huge loss. Terrific presence of mind there from the veteran Gronowski to avoid a disaster.
There's no foul for intentional grounding. The quarterback was outside of the tackle box, and the ball reached the line of scrimmage. Second down.
He's punished for it on the end of that throw by Jaleel Johnson. South Dakota State very fortunate that that wasn't a complete disaster, like you said, Sean, able to just get this back to 2nd and 10.
Don't see too much of that from Gus Miller. What a year he had, the Remington Award winner as the top center in the country. Slid this year into handling a lot more of their protections and adjustments with the departure of Mason McCormick. 2nd and 10 from the Cowboy 36. Quarterback power to the right side. Hop skips over defender, and again, he is hit hard.
I'll tell you what, Mark Gronowski will not be skipping the ice baths tomorrow. He's going to feel every one of these hits. Boom, coming across the captain, Nick Martin. You have to appreciate the toughness from Mark Gronowski. They are not shying away from running their quarterback in this first half.
How many times did the Oklahoma State coaches use the word violent when describing Nick Martin?
Well, they've got the best linebackers in the Big 12. Voted preseason all Big 12. Kendall Daniels, Nick Martin, Colin Oliver, those three across the board, really solid at the quarterback spot.
Yeah, Daniels, you see in the picture, wearing number 5, a safety, now moving closer to the line of scrimmage. This is a big play in this first half. Jimmy Rogers wants more time to think about it. Timeout, Jackrabbits on the march late here in the first half. Alan Bowman with a touchdown pass. Ollie Gordon a rushing 6. Oklahoma State leading 17-3. Colin Oliver in this Cowboy defense. This all-star cast of linebackers. Nick Martin, 5 tackles in this first half. Let's see what the Jacks scripted up after the timeout. 2 receivers left. The tight end Stoffel goes in motion. They hand the ball off to the right side, and not fooling anyone, staying at home was Trey Rucker, and now a decision for South Dakota State.
Right at the edge of Hunter Dustman's career long. They're going to bring him on, give him an opportunity. Career long's 49.
Play clock operator, put the play clock to 40, please.
Hunter Dustman hit from 31 earlier today. on the near side hash. A 47-yard attempt. Snap good, kick coming, it's on the way, and it is good. So Hunter Dussman 2 for 2. 47-yarder, and South Dakota State inches a little bit closer.
Guys, Mark Gronowski took a lot of phone calls trying to decide whether he was going to come back for this season for the Jacks. The feedback that he got from NFL scouts was that if you're going to stay in school, the most important thing is to keep playing and play somewhere where you're going to be on the field. And the second most important thing is to win. They've been doing that at South Dakota State, so why change? He leaned a lot on his dad, Ray. Listen to his dad's advice. He said, a lot of guys go somewhere else because they feel like the grass is going to be greener on the other side. But Mark said the grass is pretty frickin' green in South Dakota.
I would certainly say so, and everything he needed, they talked to several scouts, everything he needed in place at South Dakota State to cap off what has been an amazing career, and at the same time really draw the interest of his ultimate goal of playing in the NFL on Sundays.
I just love the attitude of the grass is pretty freaking green where I'm at right now, where in an era of college football that we don't see much of that, the loyalty to South Dakota State is pretty refreshing.
Well, the grass green in Brookings, I would say, from April through October, but not during those brutal winter months up there. Flag on the return.
Maybe tripping.
There is no foul on the play. First down.
I thought maybe for a second when the flag was thrown, Brody Gormley may have gotten called for tripping there, but no foul on the play.
It's been an effective first half for the Cowboys. 11 play, 7 play, and then a 10-play drive. They took advantage of the interception on the short drive after the Black interception, but Bowman very efficient in this first half. 12 of 15 for 76 yards. Keep in mind, they'll get the football first to start the second half as well. And again, it's that quick passing game. 13 more yards to Stribling. Humphrey the tackle and a first down.
Well, it's been a pretty casual, easy first half, you could say, for Alan Bowman. Not getting a lot of pressure in his lap. Has gone through his progressions nicely, gotten it to the open receiver. And done a nice job. A lot of quick game in this first half. They haven't asked him to stretch the ball vertically much to this point in the game.
Bowman granted the additional year after the waiver by the NCAA this off season, and this one goes for not a loss back at the 34-yard line. Caleb Francel blowing up that party.
He bring Francel back. That strong side linebacker position unblocked. This is a critical drive here on both sides. You touched on, if Oklahoma State can drive down, burn some clock, and get points, they get the ball coming out of half. On the other side for South Dakota State, they want to try and get points before half and get this to a one-score game.
Movement up front, might be a free play. Bowman lets her fly. Pass is caught up near midfield to the Jackrabbit 48-yard line. It is Rashad Owens. Bowman knew he had a free one to work with, and the Cowboys will take advantage.
Offside. Number 52, defense. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
But how many times do you see when you get a free play, quarterbacks just throw this deep and it's nothing but 5 yards? A nice job on both sides here. Rashad Owens setting that down and really throwing the comeback out to the field and taking advantage of that free play.
Owens coming off that terrific finish from a year ago. He had 3 100-yard games. You look at the return of health with Stribling, obviously the dangers that Brennan Presley brings each and every day on the edge. I mean, this is an offense that defenses throughout the country are going to have a tough time slowing down.
We'll get some cat and mouse here with the 2-minute timeout approaching. How does South Dakota State approach their timeout situation?
Bowman checking down, looking over toward the sideline, does not have to take a snap, and that appears to be the case here. He will let the clock wind down, and it's the new introduced 2-minute timeout to college football. We'll take a break from Stillwater. Cowboys by 11. Oklahoma State by 11 here at the 2-minute timeout. A lot of changes in college football, a lot of them dealing with technology. You take a look at the in-helmet communication at the FBS level. However, South Dakota State implementing that today. And then the tablets, 18 for FBS teams, SDSU utilizing 15 today. Second down and 10 after the timeout. Here they come. They set up the screen. Gordon with some work to do makes one defender miss, but you see the pursuit defense and a good job sniffing it out.
You said it exactly right, Sean. Unsung hero on that play, Logan Green from his nose tackle position. It looked like for a second there this was going to be a home run. Ends up being basically a half-yard gain. You see that swarming defense. That just speaks to the culture, again, for South Dakota State. They do such a nice job rallying to the football on a play where almost a big opportunity for the Cowboys.
Oklahoma State 2 of 4 on third downs. Presley and Owens, the receivers to the right. Freeman and Stribling to the left. It's the drag route. Presley with the catch, trying to go horizontally, and coming up was Tucker Large as he leveraged him out of bounds at the 44-yard line. And a fourth down coming up.
Another touch for Presley. He's been featured in this game. This is really more of a screen. You see that inside receiver blocking for him. This is designed all the way to get it to Brennan Presley. Now a decision for Oklahoma State. Clock is stopped because Presley went out of bounds. Still 2 timeouts for South Dakota State. Looks like Oklahoma State will use one to think this over.
Cowboys will burn the first of 3 timeouts.
Oklahoma State, their first of the half. It will be 30 seconds.
Big 12 on ESPN Plus is your exclusive home for 500+ live games and exclusive content across the conference. Next Saturday, more college football. It's a quadruple header starting at 5 Central. UAlbany travels to Morgantown to take on the Mountaineers of West Virginia. And UCF hosts Sam Houston at 5:30 Central. TCU back in action. They entertain Long Island at 8 under the lights. And we finish the day with new Big 12 member Arizona hosting Northern Arizona at 9 Central. ESPN+.com/Big-12, your exclusive home for all things Big 12. Mike Gundy has, at least barring a fake, decided to play a little field position here. Tucker Large, one of the more dangerous return men, waiting inside his 10. Hudson Cock with the high kick, and this one beautifully telegraphed as it goes hop skipping inside the 5, and the punter from Seymour, Australia, just a few miles outside Melbourne, tiny little town, 6,600 folks, and Cock does his job.
That was really good execution by this punt unit. I like the decision from Coach Gundy and his staff. South Dakota State, to this point in the game, haven't been able to put a drive together into the end zone, make them go the length of the field, and you said it, really nice punt by Hudson Cock to pin South Dakota State deep. At this point now, if you're South Dakota State, try and pop one loose. Can you get anything to the outside or run game in the interior, and then maybe go through a 2-minute drive? Just don't want to give the ball back to Oklahoma State, who still has 2 timeouts.
Working in the noisiest part, T-Boone Bicken Stadium, as they hand it off to that left side. Amar Johnson with a good surge, picks up 8. Jackrabbits line up quickly. Clock continues to move. Keep in mind they have 2 timeouts remaining. Time to throw, sideline pattern. It's Goring with the catch. He's pushed out at the 21 and a first down.
And now you start to think, as a play caller and a quarterback, 38 seconds with your 2 timeouts, trying to get this to field goal range. You've moved out from the shadow of your own end zone. Be on the alert for Graham Goring and Griffin Wilde, 18 and 12. And then 3 out of the backfield. Amar Johnson is a really good pass-catching running back.
Realistically, South Dakota State looking to get between 45 to 50 yards on this drive to get in field goal range, and that was a miss. Slot was open, and Wilde, the pass a little bit too tall from Gronowski.
Now, he had an opportunity right in the middle of the field. Looked like Obi Ezigbo had his hands up. I think that's what caused Mark Gronowski to throw this so high. A good job by Zigbo to get his hands up. A missed opportunity there for the Jackrabbits.
These end of first half possessions so critical. Four-man rush. Gronowski was forced to throw it away. He heard the footsteps coming. That time, Nardo's defense able to generate a little pressure.
Really goes back to that miss on first down. Some pressure in Mark Gronowski's face. Trying to work through his progression, really just throwing this away. Now a decision again. Don't want to get this back in Oklahoma State's hands. This is either a pass that's incomplete. Would imagine South Dakota State keeps this on the ground on 3rd and long.
Certainly don't want to give the football back to one of the top offenses in the country. They will indeed hand it off. Angel Johnson is tripped up in the backfield. Colin Oliver was there. And the Cowboys, as expected, will use their second timeout.
And a drive that had a chance. Post over the middle, that was the opportunity.
Timeout, Oklahoma State, their second of the half.
Opportunity from South Dakota State to try and make something of this 2-minute drive. And this has been a place for Oklahoma State for a long time now. Come to no success from Mike Gundy. 23. That's how many wins in a row going back to 2020. It's a tough place to play. Came here a long time ago with the Fighting Rice Owls, Zach Robinson, Des Bryant days. The sidelines are tight here. They're right on top of you. Students have those paddles. It's a tough place to come in and play.
You mentioned for the days of Rice when you were with the Owls, the offensive line during their meetings on the sideline, they had to build up kind of like a human wall to shield the noise.
Right, the fans could listen in. I don't think it really had too much impact on the game.
Hunter Dustman has certainly had an impact in this game as a kicker. Now for the first time we see him punting, and it's a beauty. Spiraling kick. He kept it away from Presley, and this will be touched at the 31-yard line. So 47 yards on the punt by Dustman. That's exactly what the Jackrabbits needed from their all-conference kicker.
It really was. Angle that away from the returner. Not able to not only return it, but get his hands on it. Burn a few extra seconds off the clock. Just 13 seconds and 1 timeout for Oklahoma State. Do they try and get one shot? Middle of the field, likely open. Trying to get this down in range for a potential attempt for Logan Ward.
Alan Bowman really hasn't been touched in this first half. He has had time to throw. Very, very efficient. 16 of 19, 112 yards and the 1 touchdown. With a timeout to work. And it looked like a knee was down in the backfield. The flag flies as well.
There is no foul on the play for holding. Second down.
All right, there you go. Pick up the flag by Lahi. Loss of 3 on the play, and we'll see if the Cowboys will be content just to let this clock wind down and head into the break, leading by 11. Oklahoma State knew they were going to be in for a battle today. South Dakota State coming here to win this game. 29 consecutive wins for the Jackrabbits, and after 1 half of play, it's Oklahoma State, the double-digit lead, and they will get the football to start the second half.
We saw a lot of what we expected from Ollie Gordon. Touchdown in the second quarter, running the football well. South Dakota State doing a good job on the other side, moving the football, just not capitalizing in the end zone. I think the biggest thing for South Dakota State, they're going to have to create and manufacture a turnover on the other side to really get back in this game, and then obviously punch the ball in the end zone and finish their drives.
Bowman throws for 112 in the first half. Gordon 11 carries, 47 yards and a touchdown. The Walter Payton Award winner for South Dakota State, Gronowski, 10 of 19, 79 yards. He was picked off in the first half. Cowboy fans having some fun here in Stillwater. The opening weekend, Labor Day weekend. Oklahoma State in this defense, sending a statement early. Presley with a touchdown catch. Gordon, the Doak Walker winner with one. Cowboys by 11. Halftime here from Stillwater. Oklahoma State ranks 17th in the country to start this year. The Big 12 runner-up from a year ago. They lead it over the two-time defending FCS national champs South Dakota State. 17-6, Cowboys with the lead alongside Taylor McHarg, Sean Kenny with you. And Taylor, a lot of eyes on Ollie Gordon coming into the season opener. What type of encore are we going to be treated to from the junior out of Fort Worth? Keep in mind, this is a running back that's rushed for over 100 yards in 9 of his last 11 games. Did not disappoint in the first half.
Well, slow first quarter, didn't have a ton of touches in the first quarter. Second quarter, I thought they really started to lean on him. Had the one run where he breaks free. You see right here, a couple tackles broken, which Oklahoma State fans are familiar with for the touchdown. But I thought a nice job by South Dakota State really limiting the explosive plays. Had under 5 yards a carry, under 50 yards for the first half. He's gotten his touches at 11, you see there, 11 rushes. Keeps him on pace for the 20 plus that Coach Gundy talked to us about. And on the other side for Alan Bowman, really efficient first half, but I didn't think they asked him to do a ton. Hadn't had an opportunity really to throw the ball downfield. South Dakota State a nice job in coverage on the back end. But Bowman has done a nice job when he's been asked to, checking the ball down, getting it to the open receiver, and working through his progression. He's done exactly what they asked him to. This is a lot of what we saw a year ago, but the decision-making has been sound today. He's gotten the ball out of his hands quick. You see the protection as well. South Dakota State has not really gotten after him. Oklahoma State up front done a really nice job. This is an incredible catch on the outside by Stribling. A couple times under pressure, though. Bowman has gotten the ball out of the hands quick. Go back to decision-making. Everything in the first half's been clean. Just hasn't had to do much in the way of stretching the ball down the field, but a very clean, efficient first half.
History has proven when you have a quarterback that really understands the Mike Gundy system, typically they explode for huge years. Bowman, year 2 here in Stillwater, the 7th year in his 3rd stop, and really in control of that offense in the first half. Oklahoma State will get the football to start the second half. This is a critical series, I feel, in this football game. You look up at the scoreboard, the Jackrabbits only down 11. A couple of field goals is what they had to settle for in the first half. Their defense can get a quick stop and opportunity to make it a one-possession game. Not the start they were hoping for here as the kick goes out of bounds, and we check in with Tori.
Guys, I talked with both coaches at halftime. I asked Jack's coach, Jimmy Rogers, what he told Mark Gronowski at the half. He said he just wants him to calm down a little bit. He's a good player. He can handle this. He's more worried about them stopping Oklahoma State. He says he feels like they'll play a little bit more quarters and more man, because he said he doesn't care if they lose by 50 in this game. He cares about winning. As far as the Cowboys side of things, I asked Coach if he was going to play Ollie a little bit more in this second half or watch his carries. He said he feels like Ollie's doing pretty good, and he's staying healthy out there.
All right, thank you very much, Tori. And this offensive line doing very well in the first half. Michalski, the center of attention, ready to go as we start quarter number 3, and they will hand the ball off. And you see Gordon just using that blocker. Ollie Gordon up to the 44-yard line. Terrific job that time by the offensive line, and it was Michalski who got out. He was pulling, leading the way.
Tempo again, back on the ball quickly for the Cowboys.
This is how they started the game, really quick. Same play over that right side, and Gordon will be snowed under at the 46.
Sean, I agree with you. This is a right out of the gate critical drive for South Dakota State. Still very much in this game, just down 11, but playing a little bit of bend but don't break defense. Need to get the ball back to their offense to try and get a score and get this to 1-score lead.
Gordon to get a quick breather. South Dakota State will be allowed to bring in their defensive substitution. Sesi Vailahi, who saw a few touches in the first half. Keep in mind, they also brought in Trent Holland this offseason from Indiana to join that backfield. Quick throw on that slant. Pass is caught by Stribling, tackled immediately on the plus side at the 47.
That switch route again, this time Brendan Presley, the point man, setting that legal pick for Stribling. Had a really productive first half.
Stribling coming over from the Pac-12 in Washington State as Vailahi surges ahead, setting up a 3rd and 1. But you get the impression with the weapons they have, obviously with Gordon, everybody knows about Presley. A healthy Stribling could be in line for a huge season this year, as Oklahoma State will move the chains. A 1st down, tough yardage for Vailahi.
Vailahi is so critical for this Cowboys offense. We know Ollie Gordon is going to get plenty of touches. He is the bell cow. He's the superstar. He's the best running back in college football. But behind Ollie Gordon a year ago with injuries, they really struggled. And Sesi Vailahi, go back to his performance in the Big 12 championship. Those were critical reps for him that they talked about using that as a building block through spring and camp this fall.
Yeah, he played 12 snaps in the Big 12 championship, was on the field as well in the Texas Bowl win. Hand off to Gordon, and there he goes. Look at the cutback as Ollie Gordon takes it up to the 34, close to a 1st down.
Being as big a back as Ollie Gordon is, so patient at the point of attack. You saw him work his way through the line of scrimmage and then boom, get vertical almost for a 1st down.
Bowman will take a shot, one-on-one coverage downfield, and it goes right through the arms of Stribling. Looked like the corner lost track. That was Beanham. He was with him every step of the way, but as he turned around to adjust Taylor, that ball landed right in the lap of Stribling.
I've been singing Stribling's praises for the first half. That's one he obviously wishes he had back. I agree with you. I thought Dallas Beanham in coverage was in a good spot and then lost where he was at with Stribling. Missed opportunity there for the Cowboys.
Opening drive of this 2nd half. Cowboys bring in their big bodies, lining up, putting the H-back in motion, and South Dakota State blows it up. They had penetration over the left side. Loss of a couple, setting up a 4th down.
And that was an attitude play from South Dakota State. This is bringing the fight to the front for Oklahoma State. Look at all the white hats rallying to the football. Now another decision. Done it a couple times already in this game. Would expect the offense to not only stay on the field, but go for it here on 4th down.
Zach Wilson on that last play with the tackle for loss. Diamond formation surrounding Bowman on this 4th and 3. They put the 2 tight ends to the right. Maximum protection. Bowman dancing around, looking, now flutters it near side, coming back to it, and making the catch for the 1st down.
Unbelievable protection up front. Starts there for Oklahoma State. And how about this catch from Ollie Gordon? Oklahoma State hurries to the ball to try and get this snap off before it can be reviewed. I think they're going to take another look at this.
The ruling in the field of a completed catch is under further review.
This becomes a key review early in the 3rd quarter as we take another look.
Bowman wants to go to Ollie Gordon the flat immediately. Look at the coverage. It's good coverage on the back end. Throws this like a comeback to Ollie Gordon. Ruled a catch on the field. The line judge, you can see him nodding his head. Checks with the side judge as well. That's close, Sean. I'm not sure. Again, ruled a catch on the field. Have conclusive evidence to overturn this. Field judge blocking us there.
Great job by Gordon to come back to the football and make the adjustment. And again, is there enough evidence to overturn the ruling on the field, which is a catch? And this is going to be their best vantage point. Does he get those hands and those 2 arms underneath the ball before it hits the turf?
Sean, I'm not sure from that angle. This is another one like we had earlier in the game. If this had been ruled incomplete on the field, I think the call probably stands. But because this was ruled a catch, I'm not sure that we're seeing enough to be able to overturn this.
After further review, the ruling on the field of the catch stands. First down.
And the drive stays alive.
You hear that key word stands instead of confirmed, right? If they had seen something that backed up the evidence of the call, you would have heard confirmed, but stands typically means there's not enough there to overturn it. First down, Cowboys.
It's a part of the game for Ollie Gordon maybe that doesn't get talked as much about, his ability to catch the football. 39 grabs a year ago. Key catch on 4th down. Oklahoma State operating just outside the red zone. Ford and McIndoe, two tight ends to the left. They're going to be set up as blockers as they swing it to Gordon, running through arm tacklers. Ollie Gordon stretches ahead. Touchdown! Number 2 today for Gordon.
More tackles broken in the open field from Ollie Gordon. It is so hard to bring him down when he gets his momentum going downhill. Screenplay out to the field, designed for Ollie Gordon all the way. Pretty good blocking on the perimeter. Watch this. Back-to-back broken tackles. Finishes this. Ball stretches that out. Obviously goes through the back of the end zone, but I think
The ruling in the field of a touchdown is under further review.
Sean, we saw that last part of that angle when Ollie Gordon stretches the ball out. At first glance, I thought that elbow hit the ground, would have been a touchdown, then the ball goes out of the back of the end zone. This will be a really good look at it. Does this ball move? Getting a lot of close reviews here today, Sean.
Yeah, back to back. So this crowd will have to put the celebration on pause, at least for the time being, as they again are going to take multiple looks and angles at this last second plunge by Gordon to try to get that ball across the goal line.
This will be a really good look at it, and same reaction I had to the last review. I don't think there's enough here to overturn this. I think he gets to the front of the goal line and then the ball starts to move.
You just see his impressive body control. Look like that.
You know, the other thing, Sean, I think his thigh may be down before he extends the ball out. There's also the chance right there, thigh hits the ground. This may be a half-yard short.
So a busy start to this third quarter for our replay official, Jeff Hansen, and incidentally, both of these reviews involving number 0, Ollie Gordon.
After further review, the ruling in the field of a touchdown stands.
Number 2 today for Ollie Gordon, who's all fired up.
Done it running the football just like we expected, running downhill. That time really on that drive featured catching the football. The big 4th down conversion, having to come back to the ball, then the screen out to the left, breaking tackles all the way, showing again why he was a Doak Walker winner a year ago.
A statement drive out of the locker room by Oklahoma State. They march it right down the field, 10 plays, 65 yards. Ward to add the point after, and Oklahoma State enjoying their largest lead. Ollie Gordon finds ways to get 6, using his hands on this drive. Key 4th down catch capped off with a touchdown reception. Oklahoma State enjoying their largest lead of the afternoon, 24-6 over South Dakota State. They take the opening kick here in this second half, and they march it down the field. A steady dose of Ollie Gordon. You see the production, 6 touches, a couple of key catches late.
I think the last drive especially, his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, That piece on display doesn't get talked about enough. Obviously, his ability to run the football between the tackles, out of pistol, going downhill, that gets a lot of attention for good reason, but this is really a versatile all-around back, and I think that translates obviously really well to the next level and is something that NFL scouts really like about Ollie Gordon.
Let's see how South Dakota State responds. This is a position they are not used to being in. Coming into today, 29 consecutive wins, the nation's longest winning streak. And you look at how they won their games last year, they just dominated the opposition. They won their 4 playoff games by a combined score of 146-15. So to be in this position, adversity on the road, for the Walter Payton Award winner, Mark Gronowski. Third quarter that belonged to them, and that's usually when they threw the knockout punch last year. From the 25, over the middle, passes caught, spinning up to the 46-yard line is Griffin Wilde. Trey Rucker hanging on to him. Good start, though, for the Jacks, and a pickup of 21 yards.
Sean, we talked at half about how South Dakota State needed to get Mark Gronowski going. Had a couple misses early. I thought that rattled some of his confidence. Then the interception as well. This is one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football, not just the FCS. Why he was the winner of the Walter Payton Award a year ago, like you touched on. That was a good first completion, simple play action, hit the slant to Griffin Wilde. See if they can build on that momentum on this drive where they really need points.
From the 46, double move, taking a shot, little thin post, pass is caught. Wilde stays on his feet up to the 21. And just like that, the Jackrabbits in striking distance.
Protected well up front. This is a fake bubble out to the field and then release. Griffin Wilde, 2 receivers in the concept. You see number 7, Cameron Epps. He triggers down for that bubble screen. They slip in the vertical in behind it, and a good job after the catch by Griffin Wilde. Back-to-back catches for number 18.
Wilde has been the favored target today. 5 grabs, 80 yards for the sophomore from Sioux Falls. Excellent counter punch by South Dakota State. Gronowski will look to stay hot. Soft touch, back shoulder, caught for the touchdown. It's Graham Goring.
How about that for an answer from South Dakota State? 3 plays, march all the way down the field, all chunk plays in the passing game. First shoot to Griffin Wilde, and then the inside slot fade to Graham Goring. Right in the middle, this inside fade does a nice job leaving his quarterback some room. A little bit of hand checking, the one-handed catch to secure that to the body. Unbelievable play from Graham Goring.
What a grab by Goring, the junior out of Iowa City West. Young man that has waited his turn, patient like so many of these Jackrabbits. 2 years of no game action. His first 2 years on campus, 13 catches a season ago, and a highlight reel haul-in on the touchdown from Gronowski. It only took 3 plays to go 75 yards. Gronowski to Goring, and the Jacks strike right back. You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Beautiful afternoon from Stillwater. Oklahoma State with the lead, but Jimmy Rogers trying to fire up his Jackrabbits when it looked like they were in a little bit of trouble. He turned to the Walter Payton Award winner, Mark Gronowski. 3 for 3, 75 yards on that last drive, and a beautiful throw and catch to Graham Goring. And just like that, the Jacks have an answer.
They've been sleepy in that first half. Had moved the ball effectively, but would stall out. Obviously, the couple field goals that they picked up. That is more of what we came to expect. Some of the downfield passing ability from Mark Gronowski and Graham Goring and Griffin Wilde stepping up like we expected them to on the outside.
So each team has had it once in this third quarter. Each team able to have success and score touchdowns. Possession 2 for the Cowboys. And this will be Cavanis with some hesitation inside his own 5. Caleb Cavanis cut down, check that, that's Gavin Freeman, excuse me. Freeman with the return out to the 19-yard line. All right, let's talk adjustments, starting with South Dakota State. They have really yet to find an answer in slowing down this Oklahoma State offense. I think it has to start with trying to generate some pressure on Bowman.
Bowman has been virtually untouched all game, and for South Dakota State, trying to make sure that you obviously keep eyes on Ollie Gordon. Don't let him beat you in the interior. Then you have these dangerous weapons with Rashad Owen and Brennan Presley as well. There's a lot to have to take in on the defensive side, but they've got to get after Alan Bowman some.
Right back to the steady hand of Gordon, only this time the Jackrabbits are there. Gang tackling for South Dakota State. Hey, talk about the protection for Bowman in this offensive line. 7 of them returning who made multiple starts a year ago.
Timeout, defensive injury.
It's an injury timeout as they will attend to Caleb Francel. So offensive line with 6 redshirt super seniors. Another redshirt senior, a combined 200 FBS starts just among them. The average age of 23, plus they had the 15 starts from their transfer Isaiah Glass, who came all the way in from Arizona State, all headlined by their big center from St. Thomas Aquinas and Joe Michalski. Michalski on pretty much every watch list coming into the season.
There's production across the board for this offensive line. Dalton Cooper, left tackle, 49 FBS starts, going back to his time with Texas State as well. You get Cole Birmingham back. I feel like he's fully healthy at left guard. He felt like maybe he was their best offensive lineman a couple years ago in the Fiesta Bowl. Finally getting him healthy. Jake Springfield, right tackle, ton of production there as well. It is a really deep veteran offensive line. Easier said than done. Like we talk about getting pressure on Alan Bowman. That's a tough challenge when you have that much experience on the offensive line.
Second down after the cramp for the linebacker Francel, and South Dakota State, good start on this drive. Another loss of a yard in the play and a third down passing situation for Bowman.
Some inspiration from Casey Dunn and Mike Gundy running the quarterback like we've seen from Mark Gronowski for so much of this game. You feel that momentum starting to turn a little bit in the favor of South Dakota State coming off the touchdown. A big opportunity, the 3rd and long here to get their defense off the field.
These are the situations where they love to go Brennan Presley's way. See if the Jackrabbits dial up a blitz. 3rd down. They run a stunt. It's picked up. Bowman over the middle on the drag route. Pass is caught and a 1st down. Up to the 30-yard line. It's Stribling with the grab.
This is such a good throw from Alan Bowman. Really not bad coverage on the back end from Dallas Beanham.
Huge 3rd down conversion, the 4th catch of the day for Stribling. Right back to it. This time it's Presley who hangs on, close to another 1st down.
Credit to this Oklahoma State offense on those critical downs a couple times. Go back to the last series, had the big 4th down conversion, 3rd down pickup there as well.
Yeah, South Dakota State, they will look back at this game if they don't pull this rally off.
Timeout for an injury.
They're going to look back at those key downs where they had opportunities to get off the field and they just could not.
Kobe
Claiborne, yeah.
Down with, I don't want to speculate again, but looks to be maybe some cramping as well. That 3rd down pickup was huge from Alan Bowman. That pass across the middle, those critical downs, really the last 2 possessions from Alan Bowman. Stepped up, talked about at half. Really didn't need to do a lot in the first half, but has been really impressive coming out of half with his accuracy throwing the football.
As they continue to work with Claiborne, we talked about the consistency of these 2 programs at the headline of this show. Oklahoma State, they represented Cowboy Nation in the Big 12 title game. 2 of the last 3 years, the past couple of decades. I mean, this consistency in winning. Winning record in 18 straight years. That's the third longest in the FBS, only trailing Boise State and Wisconsin. Mike Gundy has found a way to do it, and he does it each and every year. First set of downs from the 40-yard line, and this is Trent Holland for the first time. The redshirt junior transferred in this offseason from Indiana, spent 3 years with the Hoosiers, rushed for over 300 yards a season ago. Second down, putting some air on it, deep downfield, receiver in stride, it's Owens, 58 yards to the house.
Speed on the outside for Rashad Owens. We knew they would go after him on a deep shot at some point in this game. Matched up over top, Stephen Orell. And this is just winning on the outside. A nice throw again from Alan Bowman. Puts this up high, lets his receiver run underneath it. And look at the separation from Rashad Owens for the big touchdown.
All of a sudden, offense galore here in this third quarter. On the last drive for the Cowboys, they relied on Ollie Gordon. On this drive, it was all about Mr. Alan Bowman. 3 for 3, including the soft touch. Owens and the Cowboys back up comfortably.
A clutch response from Alan Bowman in this offense. Big third down conversion followed up by this perfect deep ball over the top to their best deep ball target in Rashad Owens. Pure speed on the outside, and right when it felt like South Dakota State creeping back in this game, a dagger over the top from 7 to 10.
That last throw and catch has this crowd on their feet. Sun really breaking through now. Bowman with 3 touchdown passes. Let's go down to Torrey.
Guys, Alan Bowman told me this week that he feels more comfortable than he ever has behind his offensive line. He said his goal when he got here was to become best friends with the OL because they'll block for you a little bit better. So he's taken these guys golfing over the summer. He takes them out to breakfast after morning stadium runs. I asked him who the best golfer is. He says it's center Joe Michalski. He says you would not believe how that guy can spank the ball.
Well, being a former quarterback, Taylor,
I suck at golf.
you got to let the offensive line at least beat you when you hit the greens.
I play a lot of golf, but I'm not getting any better. I would probably lose to, I do lose to one of my former offensive linemen regularly, actually.
It's always good to let those big guys win. They have protected him this afternoon, so all of a sudden it's becoming a shootout in this third quarter. Gronowski will go back to work, and this one whistles high and incomplete.
Those have been the misses. There's been a few in this game that have been a little uncharacteristic for Mark Gronowski. Simple out. They talked to us about in our meetings. That was a throw that he was most comfortable with, and there's been a handful of those in this game that he's either been late or just off the mark.
Last thing South Dakota State wanted was to get in a shootout here on the road, but that's exactly what they have found themselves in this third quarter. Trying to match the Cowboy offense blow for blow. Second down and 10. And it looked like some flinching up front.
False start. Number 18, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Third penalty today on the Jackrabbits. Oklahoma State, very disciplined in this season opener, yet to commit a miscue.
It's a killer when it's a false start on the outside from one of the receivers. A little bit undisciplined from Griffin Wilde, making it even more difficult. Backing up your offense now in 2nd and 15.
Concerned look for the Eddie Robinson National Coach of the Year winner, Jimmy Rogers. Year 2. Spent 19 years as a player and a coach in Brookings. Second down and 15. Hit, and the pass falls incomplete. That was Oliver who brought the heat that time.
Mark Gronowski has to wait just a hair for Amar Johnson to get into that second window. Colin Oliver barreling down on him. I think even if he had been able to get the ball to Amar Johnson, there was nothing really there. Covered well on the back end by Oklahoma State. 3rd and 15, and feels like this is the spot in the game South Dakota State really cannot afford to not pick this up and stay in this ball game.
Oliver has been one of the best. Put on a Cowboy uniform and disrupting the pass. Again, movement, this noise maybe having an impact. It looked like the right side flinched. We'll wait and see.
False start, number 61, offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And this crowd is just going to keep getting louder and louder. That's Evan Burnson.
A little uncharacteristic of what we've come to know from South Dakota State. You used the word discipline a minute ago. That was how the Oklahoma State staff described him as well. The 2 procedure penalties in 1 drive.
Oklahoma State drops 7 in the coverage, and they still get to Gronowski. Sack back at the 11. Colin Oliver, who we were just talking about.
MVP of that drive on the defensive side, Colin Oliver gets the quarterback hurry on the screen, and a big sack. Top of the screen, working on right tackle Sam Hagan. Trying to hit the shallow cross as the first look for Mark Gronowski, but nowhere to go with the ball from the pressure from Colin Oliver.
Returnable kick. Presley Fields at the 45, and he is tracked down right there. Special teams coverage by Colby Humphrey as we go back to Oliver.
You could see the bull rush. He lifts Sam Hagan off the ground. Sam Hagan's got almost 100 pounds on Colin Oliver. That's the combination of speed and strength. Be able to fight through that right tackle, get home for the sack. And an opportunity here for Oklahoma State. You get almost any sort of points here. Start to really put this out of arm's reach of South Dakota State.
Offensive yards, some big plays in this 3rd quarter. On 1st down, it's the flea flicker as they're going to reach into the bag of tricks. Wide open, making the juggling catch is Stribling. And a big gain on 1st down, knocked out of bounds by Miles Taylor.
And they use like Rashad Owens. He's really the decoy. That's who takes the safety on the post. And a great one-handed catch from Stribling.
27 yards on the completion, and you can see the Cowboys finding their rhythm offensively, a flow to it. And they go with the 2 big bodies in the backfield. Offline snap, adjustment by Bowman. Gordon trying to get to the outside. Good job there containing by Dallas Beanham. So we take another look at Stribling, who's been a big part of this offense today.
Had a couple one-handed catches like this a year ago. Did this against Oklahoma in a big spot. Somebody that, just like we talked about, hurt a year ago with the wrist injury. What an impact he has, how important he is to this offense when he's healthy and in the lineup.
He had 2 really productive years in Pullman for Washington State, but the opportunity to play for Casey Dunn and all the receivers that he's put out at the next level, a driving force for him to come here to Stillwater. Approaching 4 minutes to go here in this 3rd quarter. Oklahoma State.
Timeout for a defensive injury.
And this crowd getting antsy with some of these injuries is now the Jackrabbits attending to one of their defensive linemen who's on his back.
And I can only imagine what is being said, but Mike Gundy is reading the riot act to the crew right now. For our referees, he's screaming for some attention on the sideline. Looks like it's, to this point, it's been a lot of cramps from South Dakota State. You wonder if he's giving them an earful, maybe claiming that there's some embellishing of the cramps trying to slow down the tempo of Oklahoma State.
It's Randy Camonier, the senior from Oakdale, Minnesota, who's being attended to right now. What's been so impressive with Gundy throughout the years, he's found ways. He's always been ahead of the curve offensively. Back to his very first days in 2005 when he took over this program. And you talk to a lot of people, and I agree, he really was the original orchestrator of the RPO. They were doing that long before we started to see it become more prevalent in other conferences. Just such an offensive genius, and certainly that's the side of the football he's comfortable with, the quarterback in his playing days for the Cowboys, as Ollie Gordon takes it up to the 15-yard line. But he's found ways to adjust. He's coached the leading passer in the country in Mason Rudolph. He had James Washington lead the country in receiving yards. And, of course, what Gordon did last year with running, passing the football, just creative ways to keep this offense churning.
Keeping Ollie Gordon churning and more physical contact. I thought it was interesting when we asked Mike Gundy about this season and this amount of production. He said, this is the most returning production I can remember in my 20 years here. Just across the board, virtually every starter, and even in the two deep, guys all over the place that have played meaningful snaps.
One of those rare times that Bowman taking some extra time, getting everybody in place. This is Gordon sidestepping his way, now slicing ahead to the 5, plunges near the goal line, but they're going to say a yard shy. Man, he can make the most out of very little.
Well, for being as big a back as he is, he's so patient and does such a nice job at the point of contact. Look at that. 2 different defenders off his right side, makes them both miss. I think they're going to take a look at this and whether or not he stretched the arm. Another defender down.
Timeout for defensive injury.
So an injured Jackrabbit down, being attended to. Oklahoma State knocking on the doorstep. And this is Ollie Gordon coming right at you.
To our left, Ollie Gordon's right. 2 different defenders. He makes them both miss. He gives you both angles. And Sean, I actually think that he may have been in there. No, they haven't taken a look at this. They're going off that right elbow is what it looks like was down. But it's the combination of his ability to be shifty, make people miss, and then run through you. That's a deadly combination, one that I think is going to translate well to the next level, along with his ability to catch the football.
He is a special talent. Logan Green was the injured Jackrabbit. Good to see him walking off on his own power.
They said they wanted to get Gordon 20 total touches. Well, he's at 25 already with 21 rushes and 4 catches out of the backfield. I think this will be your bell cow, no doubt, in Stillwater.
Oklahoma State maybe trying to throw the knockout punch here. No one better to do it than the Doak Walker winner from a year ago as he now steps into the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma State. Now there is a flag down on the far side.
I think South Dakota State was trying to get a defender on the field late, only had 10 guys.
Illegal substitution, 12 players on defense. The penalty is declined. The result of the play was a touchdown.
They thought they had 10 and actually brought on a 12th. The touchdown stands, and the best running back in college football adds to a special performance here in week 1.
Three touchdowns today for Ollie Gordon. His second rushing touchdown. And Oklahoma State here in this second half just unstoppable. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns, 7 plays, 56 yards on this most recent one. Not sure what this conversation is about. Been a busy day for Kevin Boltman. We've had a number of close plays, a number of reviews. Any idea, partner?
He's clearly waiting on something from, he's talking now to the booth. I'm not sure there's anything to review. Now look like we're ready.
An impressive third quarter continues for Oklahoma State. Ollie Gordon and this experienced offensive line.
Well, he set it all up on a play before this. Caps this off, and we've really seen it all from Ollie Gordon so far in this game. Breaking tackles. He's had several touches, catches the ball well. That fourth down catch on the wheel route, I think that was maybe the play of the game, because that was coming right out of half. They were at midfield, would have been huge momentum for South Dakota State. Ends up extending the drive. They go on and score, and Oklahoma State on offense really hasn't looked back since.
You see the dynamic personality that Ollie Gordon brings and how everybody gravitates toward him. And such a humble leader, and one that Gundy talked about would have to practice as hard as he's ever practiced in fall camp, knowing that teams are going to load the box, knowing that teams are going to try to stop him, yet at the same time know that Oklahoma State is going to put their hat on number 0 each and every time.
Well, he's going to get the very best from every defense that he faces this year, but that's no secret, and I'm not sure that it's really going to matter, because he really is, I think, in my opinion, the best running back in college football.
With all eyes on Gordon, the Cowboy offense looking for weapons on the edge, and they are happy to have a healthy DeJon Stribling back, and he has made an impact. He has found a connection with Bowman.
They got him involved early in this game. Some of this is schemed up where they are targeting him as the #1 receiver. There's another good example of it here, and a good throw from Alan Bowman. This play right here, the one-handed catch, reeling this back in. Been so important for this offense today, along with Brennan Presley and Rashad Owens. It's a deep receiver room for the Cowboys.
South Dakota State allowed only 14 points all year a season ago in the third quarter. Today, Oklahoma State 21, 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns, as the Jacks go back to the ground with Amar Johnson.
South Dakota State, like they told us, wanted to establish physicality at the point of attack, and I think Oklahoma State has done a really nice job of doing that on the other side, especially when they've had the ball. They've controlled the line of scrimmage, run the ball well, and protected Alan Bowman extremely well.
The usual playmakers getting the job done. We've seen Oliver with a sack, Martin closing in on double-digit tackles. Interception early in the game by Black. Playmakers on that side of the football. Little hitch pattern over the middle. It's caught up near the first down to the 35-yard line. Pass hauled in by Wilde as we check in with Tori.
Guys, you guys have talked about it a little bit. That coach-to-player headset system is new in the FBS this season, something that they brought in from the NFL, but the FCS doesn't have that technology yet. However, because South Dakota State was playing an FBS team today, they had the option to buy the system, and they decided they were going to do it for 2 reasons. One, Coach says if we're going to claim that we're one of the best programs in the country, we need to back that up. And the other is that they wanted to give quarterback Mark Gronowski the best chance to learn as he would at any other school.
It's a great point, Tori, and you look at it with the approach that South Dakota State took, giving their quarterback the opportunity. We talked about it. He had offers to go Power 4. He made the decision to stay in Brookings, a statement sent by Jimmy Rogers saying, we're going to give you the technology as well.
I think it's likely, and this is speculation, but a lot of people have talked about likely that this is coming to FCS as well with the coach-to-player communication. To this point in the game, haven't really noticed a hitch on either side. Seems like the systems for both of these teams have worked well.
Like they wanted to try the end-around pass, but just no time to get the throw away as Oklahoma State was ready for it. Trey Rucker in on that stop. Third down. If you're not familiar with the new coach-to-player communication, 1 player on the field per team at a time, able to have radio communication, and the player that has that communication, you will always be able to tell they'll have the unbranded green dot
That is the end of the third quarter.
on their back midline. Nick Martin doesn't need a lot of communication. He's a read and react type player. Oklahoma State in control as we march to the 4th. Oklahoma State certainly sending a statement in that third quarter. They lead 38-13 just a few moments ago. Torrey caught up with Mike Gundy.
Coach, is there a certain point in this game where you decide to give your starters a rest, or do you keep giving them some practice out there?
Well, this team's won a lot of games, and they're still dangerous, so we need to keep playing. I mean, we're just in the fourth quarter, and, you know, there's a 2-minute timeout now. There's a lot of clock stoppage in college football, so we need to play.
Thanks, Coach.
Third down for the Jacks from their own 40, putting some air on it just beyond the outstretched arms, incomplete. A little bit offline as he was looking for Wilde, and a 4th and 6, down 25, and here comes the punting unit for South Dakota State.
That wasn't by much, but just another miss from Mark Gronowski trying to hit the corner route. And Griffin Wilde had won against Cam Smith. I think Gronowski, we've seen plenty of good tape and solid performances over his career. I think he'll go back, learn from a lot of this, but some inaccuracies today that we just aren't accustomed to seeing from number 11.
And it's a fake, and the pass is offline, incomplete. Dustman trying to hit his protector, sliding out of the backfield. South Dakota State desperate, trying to find a little magic, a little spark. You can't blame Jimmy Rogers, and the punter's throw just offline.
He's trying to get it to Joe Allman, number 11, coming across from the punter's right to left. He's one of the personal protectors, and it's open. He's got number 11, but a little offline.
We've talked about Mr. Dustman. He is really your do-it-all kicker, and that time they tried to have that arm get added into his resume of weapons. Oh, big hit there, collision. That hit coming for South Dakota State. That was Colby Humphrey who brought it, and no doubt Vailahi felt that one.
That was a shot from Colby Humphrey. I know Coach Gundy said they're going to keep their starters in, but I would be surprised if we saw much more of Ollie Gordon in this game.
Bowman with that quick trigger, and it is caught. Freeman with his second catch. First game for him wearing the Oklahoma State colors. Transferred in this offseason from Oklahoma. Was a walk-on in Norman before earning a scholarship prior to the 2023 season, and that was a player that we watched last year. He made some impact plays and the touches that he got. Wanted a fresh start. Bowman's going to lob it. Stribling's open in the corner. Knocked away at the last second. Humphrey got a hand in there in the nick of time.
I know he doesn't come down with it, but this is a great throw from Alan Bowman. Drops this in the bucket and gives Stribling an opportunity to make a play. Stribling, there's a little bit of hand checking at the end. I'm not sure he'd been able to get that right hand on the ball if he was able to come down with it, but a great throw from Alan Bowman.
Cowboys will send out Logan Ward. First-year place kicker, replacing Alex Hale, who led the country in field goals per game. So Gundy wants to get a look at the strength of Ward, who has handled kickoffs in the past. So leg strength has never been an issue, and either is accuracy. It's perfect for Ward from 52 yards. The Cowboys just keep on piling up the points. All Oklahoma State here in Stillwater. Offensive coordinator Casey Dunn certainly has to be smiling from what he has seen from his offense in this second half as they have put this game away. 41-13 over the two-time defending national champions from South Dakota State. Mike Gundy knew this was going to be a difficult test this opening week. Really a very tough non-conference schedule for the Cowboys. They get ready for Arkansas next week and then a road trip to Tulsa before they dive into Big 12 competition. Angel Johnson from near his own goal line. Johnson take it out past the 20 to the 22-yard line. So with the addition of 4 new teams into the Big 12 and the college football playoff. This conference is going to be jam-packed with action throughout the year. 12 teams now in the football playoff. The 5 highest ranked conference champions and the next 7 highest ranked teams. The 4 highest ranked conference champs will then have the opportunity to get a first round bye. They'll seed them 1 through 4. 5 through 12 will be seeded with first round games at home locations going to those higher seats. Who will be the Big 12 representative? It's going to be a lot of fun this year as Johnson takes it through the right side hole up to the 27. You take a look at the most weeks ranked in our college football polls. Alabama, Ohio State headlining the pack, but the newcomer Utah to this conference and Oklahoma State right there.
To me, this is the program that in all of college football doesn't get near enough respect. Look at that right there on most weeks ranked in the CFP poll. Think about the win streak in terms of winning seasons for Mike Gundy at 18 in a row. It's a winning culture here that's been a staple for a long time.
First down run for Johnson as he takes it up to the 40.
Going back to the expanded playoff, how important it is, important every season for Oklahoma State and these other teams to try and win the Big 12, but these Power 4 conference champions getting a bye week is going to be massive. That is such an advantage if you get an opportunity after your conference championship to sit back, take in some time. You would have almost a month off from conference championship weekend to the second round of the playoffs. It would be such an advantage for those 4 teams that win their conference.
And as we talked about throughout the broadcast, the winner of the Big 12, and it is going to be wild. You look at the history of this conference as they take a shot downfield. Hold that thought. Wilde gets into the clear. 1 man to beat, makes a cut at the 5, and he will find the end zone for the touchdown. 60 yards to Griffin Wilde, and no quit from the boys from Brookings.
Offensive coordinator Ryan Olson told us in camp Mark Gronowski has been hitting these posts over the top, beating their defense every day in practice and in the scrimmages. Shows up here to Griffin Wilde. Shot play schemed up really nicely. And a great pitch and catch from Mark Gronowski to Griffin Wilde.
Gronowski with his 2nd touchdown on the day. Wilde goes over the 100-yard mark as well. A position group that South Dakota State was anxious to see who would step up. With the Yankee twins gone, today it's been Griffin Wilde. 7 catches, 150 yards. The sophomore from Sioux Falls finds the end zone. First ever meeting between these 2 proud programs. Oklahoma State with the 41-20 lead. Don't forget Big 12 on ESPN Plus is your exclusive home for over 500 live games and exclusive content across the conference. Next weekend we bring you a football quadruple header starting at 5 o'clock Central. UAlbany traveling to Morgantown to take on the Mountaineers, and UCF hosts Sam Houston at 5:30 Central. TCU ready to battle Long Island at 8 o'clock, and then we cap off the day with new Big 12 member Arizona hosting Northern Arizona at 9 Central. ESPNplus.com/Big-12, your exclusive home for all things Big 12. Brent Brennan, one of the 2 new head coaches in the conference, alongside Willie Fritz of Houston. Those 2 coaches getting their first taste of Big 12 action. Here comes Bowman and the Cowboy offense. Still lots of time in this game, a little more than 12 minutes. Bowman has been very good today, 24 of 29 for 265 yards and the 3 touchdowns. Wanting to set up the screen, and wisely just dumps it at the feet of Gordon.
A great acting job from Gordon there as well. Take a look at the receivers' production from this room today. Brennan Presley, how about the first quarter that he had? 5 touches just in that first quarter. John Stribling, we talked about a minute ago. Ollie Gordon, both running the football and out of the backfield as well. That receiver room, like they have not missed a beat. Another piece of this team not lacking returning production.
Second down. This is Gordon tripped up. Excellent job by Adam Bach. We haven't talked a lot about Bach. He's the captain, the multi-time All-American, made the decision to come back for a 6th season. 4-time captain. That's the type of impact he's made with this program during their championship run.
And good to see Graham Spalding back in as well alongside him. Worried we may not see him in the game again. Those two so important in the middle at linebacker for this Jackrabbits defense.
Third down. Bowman's going to sprint right, directing traffic downfield, throws, and it's nearly intercepted. That was Spalding who got his hand on it, just could not reel it in. And the Cowboys with a 3 and out. So the Jackrabbits get exactly what they need from their defense, and they will get the football right back with not much time evaporating off the clock.
And we were getting ready to brag on Oklahoma State for not turning the football over. The key parts of last season where Alan Bowman got this team in trouble were caused by turnovers. A big missed opportunity there from Graham Spalding. And maybe Coach Gundy was right, keeping the starters in. Still with a 3-touchdown lead, but Jackrabbits getting the ball back.
Beautiful spiraling kick that Tucker Large will let bounce inside the 10. A flag is thrown, and this ball picked up by Large in his end zone. And let's see if that ball was touched. I thought initially as I watched that the ball was touched around the 5.
Touched around the 5 and then picked up.
It looked like one of the Cowboy gunners touched it originally as they were diving to get to the ball.
I think we're going to get holding back at about the 30-yard line as well. A lot to unpack here.
It's a 69-yard punt as it stands right now. Hudson Cock very quietly has had a really good day in his limited opportunities. Remember, he pinned South Dakota State deep in the first half, and now he just delivers a bomb.
During the kick, holding number 2 on the return team. The penalty is half the distance from the post-scrimmage kick spot, which is the 20. It will be penalized to the 10-yard line. First down.
The spot of the ball at the 20 leads me to believe after the ball was touched and then picked up in the end zone, they're giving South Dakota State the benefit of the ball moving out to the 20. A little bit of an unconventional ruling there. So with the holding penalty, back South Dakota State up to the 10-yard line.
South Dakota State working in the shadows of their own end zone. On first down, they will hand the football off. Angel Johnson gets 2. Trey Rucker, who has been lending support from his safety position all day and on the stop, much like Nick Martin coming off a breakout season last year in which he had over 100 tackles. See the offensive production today for the Jackrabbits. Statistically, you look at this game, there's not a lot of difference. Oklahoma State 380, South Dakota State at 344 for total yards.
The turnovers and then those critical pickups by Oklahoma State on 3rd and 4th down. That's been the biggest difference in this game, and they've won special teams. You talked about that a second ago.
Bootleg on the move, back foot throw, and a flag in the secondary. He was looking for Wilde. Cam Smith with the coverage on the young sophomore. And let's see what this penalty is.
Holding number 3, defense. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It is going to be Smith.
And Griffin Wilde is selling this as an over route, like he's going to come across and then pivot this back on a corner route. And good call. Clearly a hold there from Cam Smith. Wilde and Graham Goring, but especially Griffin Wilde. Talked about the production that room lost from the Yankee Twins a season ago. It's been good if you're a Jackrabbits fan to see Griffin Wilde's production today. The deep shot, long touchdown earlier as well. Bright future for South Dakota State for Griffin Wilde.
That holding call, the first penalty on the day for Oklahoma State, so they have played a really good disciplined game. A little bit of space to work now for Gronowski on first down. Has a clean pocket, takes a shot, receiver out there, and the speedster Prejean cannot run underneath it. He was open.
Prejean's running a corner route, and I can't tell from Gronowski if he meant to leave this back inside. The initial from Prejean turns around like he's expecting this to the corner side, gets spun back around, and a miss there. Missed opportunity from Mark Gronowski, but you just said it, Sean. The combination of one penalty total for the day and no turnovers, I don't care who you're playing against, you're going to have a really good day if you play that clean.
On second down, it is a design run for Gronowski. Nick Martin, impact player, bringing him down, and a 3rd and 7 for South Dakota State.
I think that speaks to, again, the amount of production that's coming back. There are seniors all over the field, guys that have been playing football since pre-COVID. 5th and 6th year players, a 7th year player in Alan Bowman. When you have that much returning production and history, not only in college football, but in this system on offensive and defensive side, you end up with these performances, even in week 1, of really clean football.
Prejean and Wilde split to the right, Goring to the left. And a throw underneath, nearly intercepted. Kendall Daniels, the safety turned linebacker, nearly had a pick 6.
And it's a misread from Mark Gronowski. They've got Graham Goring on the in cut. Simple high-low read. The dig from Graham Goring. Look at the top of the screen. Watch 12 right there in that window, getting on the other side of Trey Rucker. I thought that was the throw. And lucky it wasn't a pick 6 going the opposite direction.
What a wonderful advantage it is to have a player like Daniels, who played safety last year, really excelled in the 3-3-5 scheme of Brian Nardo, put on some weight to move closer to the line of scrimmage, yet still has that invert ability to drop back into pass coverage, and we saw his ability to read and anticipate on that last play. A lot of talent in the running back room when you look at this conference. Nobody bigger than Ollie Gordon, the returning firepower that this conference can unveil. And what's so unique is you take a look at this list and they get it done in different ways.
Well, they're very different styles. Ollie Gordon being the bruiser. Devin Neal, you and I had a chance to see him on Thursday night. Taj Brooks, ton of production coming back for him. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt coming in from New Mexico. That's somebody I know that Arizona fans are really excited about. But this running back group in the Big 12, Mike Gundy talked about it. Said, man, I'm worried every single week we face a new unbelievable running back in this conference.
Ollie Gordon, another near 100-yard game. We'll see if he tops that century mark when we come back. .9:17 to go here in the 4th quarter. Oklahoma State trying to put the finishing touches on this one. A 41-20 lead over the 2-time FCS national champs, who entered today winners of 29 consecutive games, the nation's longest win streak. Ollie Gordon trying to hit that century mark for the 10th time in his last 12 games, and with that carry he will do just that. Gordon up to the 32, brought down by Bryce Hawthorne.
Another look. Big Joe Michalski coming around maybe the best center in college football, more tempo and another carry for Ollie Gordon. And I said a minute ago I wasn't sure if we would see him much in this fourth quarter with the lead that they have in Sessi Bailahi, the production he's had, but they have kept Ollie Gordon in the game.
Bailahi with 4 rushes. We saw Holland get a carry early in this third quarter. Gordon, I'm not sure he's going to get there. They'll mark him about a yard shy, so no surprise from South Dakota State. They love these interior physical battles, and they're not budging an inch.
And I agree with this decision to punt. With where you're at on the field, 3-touchdown lead, just surprising for Oklahoma State. Back-to-back 3 and outs. They had that explosion in the third quarter, and now everything's really grinded to a halt here in the fourth quarter.
Large as the Jacks come after it. Kick is away by Cock. Fair catch signal for, and Large will haul it in at his 14-yard line.
And
52-yard punt.
Sorry, Sean, Oklahoma State has a weapon in Hudson Cock. The punts that he's had today has flipped the field a couple times. You talked about before half, pinning South Dakota State inside the 5-yard line. The booming punt 2 series ago. Really good. And the sophomore from Seymour, Australia.
Certainly seen our share of Australian punters over the last couple of years with Pro Kick Australia and all the work they do and opportunities in this college game. So here come the Jackrabbits. They start this drive at the 16-yard line. Not winning the field position battle in this fourth quarter. A little underneath route. Goring with the grab. He falls ahead up to the 26. Daniels is there with the tackle.
South Dakota State will move into a little bit of tempo, back on the ball quick.
It did not give him a first down, so second and less than a yard. Umpire allowing the Cowboys to get one last substitution in. Second and short. Quick throw again over the middle. Pass is caught. It's the tight end. We haven't called a lot of these tight ends with Grayton Gannon, Brody Gormley, Davin Stoffel, Alpers, Kevin Brenner. This is a group coming into this season with just 3 catches a year ago and 1 touchdown. They're going to have to develop a key position at a school that has just relished in the tight end role throughout the years.
They have done such a nice job of producing NFL caliber tight ends over the last 10, 12 years. And you said it exactly right, Sean. There's so much from that room that has departed from a year ago. A lot of opportunities. We talked last night with Coach Rogers. He went down the list. We got 5, 6 guys deep that he felt like, look, you'll see all of these guys, starting with Davin Stoffel right out of the gate, but Grayton Gannon, David Alpers as well, Brody Gormley.
Throw and catch up near midfield, 13 yards. Cale Smith the tackle. The catch from Prejean, the speedster, the redshirt freshman from Lafayette, Louisiana.
And as they've gone to more of a 11 personnel look, getting that third receiver on the field, Prejean, a little more of an impact in this second half.
Play fake, pressure up the middle by Oliver, and that forced Gronowski to get rid of it quickly.
I'll go back to the bright spot for Griffin Wilde. That was something that, when we talked to Coach Rogers, it was the receiver room and it was the tight end room. That was the production that so much of what they had the last couple years and guys that they had come to know, specifically the Yankees that had been around forever. They leave. What do you have in that room? Who's going to step up? And I think Griffin Wilde, maybe the biggest bright spot of the newcomers, the guys that have stepped up so far today for South Dakota State.
They go on the ground for the first time on this drive with Lamar Johnson. So we talked about the tight ends, and they have pretty much been the tight end U of FCS football since this program moved to the FCS back in 2004. Dallas Goddard headlining the pack. Tucker Kraft, exceptional tight end with Green Bay. You can now throw in Zach Hines, who signed with the Chargers a year ago. So they produced some tight ends. And we talked to Ryan Olson, their offensive coordinator, about it. You look at that part of the country, South Dakota, they have some large people, very athletic bodies, oftentimes underdeveloped just because they don't get a lot of football reps in during the high school year. South Dakota, one of the shortest high school seasons. 50-50 ball downfield, looking for Goring. Blanket coverage from Corey Black.
Corey Black in a really good position on Graham Goring. This ball would have had to be perfect on the back shoulder, left a little bit inside. Goring not able to come up with a circus one-handed catch, but good coverage from Corey Black. Had the interception early in the game. I think that is maybe one of the more under radar corners in this league. The two that we saw Thursday night from Kansas, I mean, they obviously get a lot of the praise, but Corey Black, really good corner in this conference.
Down 21, running out of time. The offense stays on the field. 4th down for Gronowski. They need to get it to the Cowboy 40. They rush 4. Gronowski buys some time and then undershot his receiver. He was also hit as he released it. Hit on the play by Jaleel Johnson. And the Jackrabbits come up empty late.
I think Mark Gronowski knew he was going to get hit on this, but Griffin Wilde is wide open, crossing the middle of the field, and there's been some bright spots for Mark Gronowski, but certainly some misses as well. And like we talked about earlier, he'll go back, watch the tape. South Dakota State certainly had their opportunities in this game. The third quarter got away from them a little bit. Looks like going to come up short in the second half push, but Mark Gronowski, certainly some throws in this game that he wishes he had back.
First down, the handoff is to Ollie Gordon, and he is cornered before he can get stretched wide. I know at media days, Mike Gundy joked Gordon might run the ball 50 times this opening week. Well, he hasn't hit that number, but that last carry is 27th of this game. 31 touches when you factor in his 4 catches as well.
Have to be in the ice baths, just like Mark Gronowski. There's been plenty of physical collisions for Ollie Gordon today, and Mike Gundy has been true to his word.
Last year, Gordon averaged 6.5 yards per carry. Today, it's just under 4. Out of the backfield, they tried to hit Jake Schultz. They don't give him the ball a lot, mainly a lead blocking presence, and he has been a factor today with his blocking. You take a look at the Big 12 in the preseason poll. Utah, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Kansas, Arizona, tons of experience with both Iowa State and West Virginia, and UCF picking up some votes as well.
I was surprised. I agree with really how the AP has this ranked, where Oklahoma State a little ahead of Kansas State at 17, but this is a real contender, not only in this league, but this is a real contender for the expanded college football playoff this year.
No doubt about it. Bowman feeling the heat, being chased, and he will throw it away. That was Reese Kirschenman as the Jackrabbits ran a stunt. And you talk about a game just hitting a brick wall with a resounding thud. These defenses just stepping up, forcing 3 and outs. And for Mike Gundy, the final 6-7 minutes of this game probably feels like an eternity right now.
It's a practice for Hudson Cock in this punting unit in this 4th quarter here.
Kick is away. Wes Paul boots it. A little bit too much strength as this one goes through the end zone for the touchback. You know, we talked about the Big 12 and all the different teams stacked in the rankings. You can make that case for the Missouri Valley Football Conference, which traditionally has been the best conference at the FCS level.
You look down the ranking of their preseason ranking as well, and it's amazing. Somebody's got to be 3rd, 4th, and 5th in this league. But these are all teams that we've come to see make not only runs to the playoffs, but deep runs in the playoffs as well. It's unbelievably talented league for the Missouri Valley Conference.
The Dakota Marker game, always one of the highlights of the college football season, when the Bison and the Jackrabbits collide annually. South Dakota State has had the upper hand of late. They've won 5 straight against North Dakota State. We saw the Bison on Thursday night hang tough and give Colorado a scare at Boulder.
think today really just, again, comes down to how clean Oklahoma State played. They did not give any opportunities for South Dakota State to take advantage. And that's what South Dakota State's done such a nice job of for all these years. If you turn the ball over, if you're not clean in special teams, if you have penalties, they punish you. And Oklahoma State just didn't give them an inch in any of those respects today.
On second down, right through the arms of Nick Martin. Cannot believe it.
Nick Martin has eyes on Mark Gronowski the entire time. This is about 4 right in the middle of your screen. This is about as easy as it gets. He can't believe he threw that ball. He's going to get, his buddies will get after him in film for that one.
Oh, they're going to have some fun with him. What a game he has played. Just picking up where he left off from a season ago. 9 tackles today for Martin. Pressure comes in. Gronowski gets rid of it just as he was being wrapped up by Jaleel Johnson. Let's check in with Tori.
Guys, I talked to Nick Martin early this week, and he said that this team feels like this season for them is all or nothing. That's the expectation. He was talking all the way about a national championship. He said that nobody in the country works as hard as us, and we can go all the way if we handle business. He feels like they can really win the whole thing. That's how good he feels about this Oklahoma State football team.
Yeah, not surprised to hear that. The expectation with the Cowboys. And they truly feel they have all the parts in place. They knew they had to improve on the defensive side of the football. You'll see that multiple look up front from what they showed a year ago. And, you know, this offense obviously in full display today with the number of weapons and the creativity that Gundy and Dunn bring each and every weekend.
And Nick Martin is the tone setter in the middle. Coach Gundy bragged about him. Coach Nardo did as well. And this linebacking unit for Coach Nardo in this 3-3-5 defense, it's so important, right? Because you only have the 3-down linemen. Traditionally, we've seen a lot out of Colin Oliver as well, but you've got to have sound linebacker play, and it obviously starts with Nick Martin.
After the timeout, Lamar Johnson, the running back, 4th down. The Cowboys bring the blitz, and they're going to get to him. Guess who? Nick Martin. An exclamation point for the junior and the preseason All-American.
Right on cue. They overload the right side. And Nick Martin unblocked. Nothing Mark Gronowski can do here. Mike linebacker, I think they have spotted up over the middle of the ball. And one too many leaves maybe the best player on this entire defense, and Nick Martin unblocked. Doesn't get the interception, does get the sack on Mark Gronowski.
Mike Gundy says this is a guy that just loves football. He is an old school player. He would play for free. He's a pounding presence, a leader in that Cowboy locker room, and Martin finishes the day with the sack, and now Oklahoma State can take their time, run down this clock inside the Jackrabbit red zone, approaching 2.5 to play in the 4th quarter. Second down give right over the center and right guard up near the 10-yard line. Bring up a 3rd down. Trent Holland the last couple of carries. Looks like Ollie Gordon and his work might be done. Typical day for Gordon with the 3 touchdowns. Oklahoma State will not have to take another snap. We will hit the 2-minute timeout.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
Cowboys here in their home opener in control over South Dakota State. This is the Big 12 on ESPN. Late Saturday afternoon in Stillwater. Oklahoma State has never trailed in this one. The Cowboys by 21, trying to put the finishing touches. Alongside Tori Petrie, Taylor McCard, Sean Kinney, our fantastic crew from Boone Pickens Stadium, 3rd down and 5. Bowman, who's thrown for 3 touchdowns today, will try to add one more. Time in the pocket, checks down. Holland with the catch, shakes free from 1, but the pursuit defense is able to cut him down at the 8-yard line. Holland lost a shoe in the process. He entered the portal back in November. It looked like he was going to head to Minnesota, but then he had a change of heart, re-entered the transfer portal, and in April he decided to land a spot here in Stillwater and serve as the backup to Ollie Gordon, one of 2 transfers that Gundy brought in that running back room. A.J. Green the other. They brought him in from Arkansas, who ironically is who they will face next week. Chip shot field goal is up and through, and 3 more to extend the lead to 44-20. Take a look at what's coming up. Arkansas will be an ABC game. The Razorbacks look good Thursday night.
That's a big one next week, and that is I don't know, for both of these fan bases, one that's been circled a long time. And then the biggest one in the Big 12, in my opinion, for the entire conference all season is that September 21st game, hosting Utah. I said earlier this week, I thought if Oklahoma State can win that game against Utah, they become the favorites to win this conference. I think the winner of that game becomes your favorite, and the fact that Oklahoma State gets Utah at home is huge. Not having to go to Utah is massive. But what an exciting first part of the schedule, and then have to go to Kansas State immediately after. I think they get the most challenging portion of their schedule between Arkansas, Utah, and Kansas State, likely right out of the way between those 3, all in September.
Certainly a grind to begin the year, but they have passed the first test with flying colors today. Afternoon that has saw both teams produce close to 400 yards. Oklahoma State at 394, South Dakota State right now checking in at 381.
For South Dakota State, obviously coming up short today, did not get the job done with a win, but this is still a really good football team and probably the best team in FCS again this year. Expect them to make another long run and be there right at the end for an opportunity for a 3rd straight national championship. I thought they didn't get the breaks that they needed, really in the 3rd quarter especially. No opportunities in the way of turnovers, penalties. We talked about how clean Oklahoma State played. But for South Dakota State, all of their hopes and dreams, everything is out in front of them for a really talented football team.
First down handoff is Kirby Voorhees, who picks up a couple of yards. Chase Mason is the new quarterback out there. He's the junior. They are very high on him. Out of Hurley, South Dakota. Actually started his career at Nebraska, and he was an exceptional baseball player. He was on the Husker team before making the decision to transfer to Brookings back in 2022, and man, they raved about his arm. He produced a 90-mile-per-hour fastball on the baseball diamond, and he can whip the football. Plus, he has feet that enabled him to rush for over 1,000 yards in his high school career. And the ability to have and the advantage, the opportunity to learn behind a great like Gronowski. Final few ticks of this one, and Oklahoma State in one of those matchups that a lot of the country was talking about coming into today. The Cowboys have ended the nation's longest winning streak, and what a run it was for South Dakota State. 29 consecutive wins entering today, but it ends today as the Cowboys start the season with a bang. 44-20 your final.
We made so much of the amount of production and returning starters that Oklahoma State coming back. We talked about it all day. We talked about it in the lead up, and it showed today. Clean football, no turnovers, limited penalties, and your superstars showed up. You had a 3-touchdown day from Ollie Gordon. They got him the touches that he wanted. Receiver room looked good. The core on the defense looked good as well. I thought it was a resounding win against a really, really talented FCS opponent in South Dakota State.
One of the more anticipated seasons for Oklahoma State starts off in a positive note, the Cowboys defend the home turf. They win today over South Dakota State. 44-20 your final score for Torrey Petrie, Taylor McHarg. This is Sean Kinney saying so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Good day from Stillwater.